Frog KC. If they sweep the series tonight, Cutter Crawford will be on the mound. White Sox beat the A's last night, ending Chicago's AL record-tying 21-game losing streak. At the Olympics, U.S. men's basketball advances to the semifinals with a 122-87 win over Brazil. They'll play Serbia in one semifinal tomorrow. France takes on Germany in the other. Northampton native Gabby Thomas wins gold in the women's 200 meters. And the Revolution beat Nashville on penalty kicks last night to advance to the knockout round of the League's Cup. Revs will host New York City FC on Friday night. Sports Hub headlines brought to you by Valvoline. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, now open in Franklin, Billerica, and Peabody. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. We got more headlines in around 30 minutes.
Boston's first FM all-sports radio station. Let's go! All-sports radio. Boston's home for sports. Go in the middle! 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello! Hello!
Mm-hmm.
Hello! Hello! Hello!
He's naked. He has a sword.
Open him up with a football.
98.5 The Hub!
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers! Yes! Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
He's a punk. Bye.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios. You can call us 617-779-0985. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Ryan Johnston is in for Wallach. You can watch us on YouTube to see beautiful Ryan Johnston. Just search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Ryan, is there any word yet on the situation with the you're vying for one of the play-by-play jobs that now that Jack Edwards is retired for the Bruins? Is there any word on what's going on with that?
No. Plain and simple, no.
Now, is there? Have you heard even rumors? You don't even have to address them because I don't know anything about it. Have you heard rumors? Is there like in talk in that community, play-by-play community?
I'm generally not involved in the in talk of the play-by-play community.
He's not in it yet.
Right. So
Are you? Well, yes, he is. I mean, the man's called his fair share of games. Surratt, are you friends with him? Like talking friends, on the phone?
No. We get along fine.
Right,
don't want to start those rumors or anything like that. No, we don't socialize or anything.
Okay, so you wouldn't know. He was very cagey. The only time I saw him, which was a long time ago, was at the golf tournament.
Well, it was reported by Chad Finn a few weeks ago that Judd was one of the people that auditioned.
For the TV
for
job.
Nesson, yes.
I've tried to get close to Surratt before, and it's like once you get through his people, you think you're there. But then there's that second layer of his handlers and people, and they're the ones who
Billy Jaffe and the like.
They're
people.
the ones who Jaffe is the real gatekeeper when it comes to trying to, sidle up next to Judd Surratt. So
yeah, he's got his phone that he carries and the phone that has a service. He will be friends with you if you let him live with you for 6 months like Jaffe did when you first come to town. If you allow a man with a wife and 2 kids to let you hole up there for a season. But he is, so I don't know anything about that. It is odd that, the season here starts soon.
I would imagine that, yes, there should be a decision here relatively quickly.
When's the first preseason game? Like what month?
It's like mid to like September 20th, somewhere around there, I think.
Yeah, you would think you'd want this button down, because I don't know if they know what's going on with the basketball with the Celtics.
22nd.
Because there's a rumor that Grandy could be taking the Knicks job, which would mean Wallach.
Oh.
So there is a scenario, Ryan, that John would get the Celtics radio job, you would get one of the Bruins jobs, and then that update chair would be wide open.
Would it, though? I mean, I'm looking at Isaac in the other room.
I didn't say
know if
Isaac's
it's
not a
present.
candidate, but I want Isaac to get that education. I don't want him going pro too soon.
As a proud alum of Syracuse, I can tell you that Bob Costas dropped out of school a little bit early because he got
Look at him
job
now.
in the ABA.
Look at him now. He's failed. He's they're AI in him stuff for the Olympics. I guess they're bringing him and Al Michaels back because they want people to, because I guess they both left under bad terms, so they're bringing them both back.
I don't understand. I saw one of the Al Michaels AI things the other day. They're using an AI voice of Al Michaels to read copy, essentially.
Yeah,
and it was like, why are you doing? Like,
I know why.
He's not, but he's not on camera. He doesn't even work for NBC anymore. He works for Amazon. It's this is bizarre.
It's dipping their toe in the water is what it is. It's like
little test balloon.
Well, I saw an AI thing. I won't screw around with that stuff. I saw an AI thing of Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins. It was a press conference, and he was doing essentially a roast of Tyreek Hill having so many kids. And it wasn't dirty. And I'm like, wow, Mike McDaniel got up there and roasted him. Like, it wasn't completely out of character for him, right? Like, there was nothing that I thought was over the line.
Yeah.
It was just the only thing that made me question it was that he was doing it like a roast and there was no laughter from the crowd. And sure enough, it was AI. Like, I watched it twice, but if I only would have watched it once, and I'm at least in broadcasting, I mean, I wonder how many people thought that was real. That AI stuff is no good. No good. And shame on Al Michaels, really, for allowing them to use his voice.
What does he care?
Just
I'm
your legacy.
I'm sure he's getting money out of it.
How much money does Al Michaels need at 85 years old? Does Al Michaels need money? I mean, and he doesn't like NBC.
It just seems like maybe with a little tiny eye on the future, and for those looking to get their first job or their next job, maybe you would have a pang of conscience that would say, I don't like the way this is headed. I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way it feels. I'm gonna pass.
Like, at what point does your integrity and legacy outweigh, a few bucks? Certainly, I would hope by the time I was Al Michaels' age, if I had that kind of career, that I would be willing to say F you. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be the one who does this. But I'd imagine that the main reason he did it, quite frankly, is not money. The main reason he did it is to have his voice on a big event.
So,
And
50 years from now, when Al Michaels is long gone, he'll be calling the Super Bowl?
Maybe not that, but I bet you he could do, an introduction to the Super Bowl, like the package.
It will get to
before
a
the Super
point. I
Bowl.
mean, it won't happen tomorrow, but it will get to a point where the AI will be able to do that job. I have no doubt. It'll be able to describe things in real time.
So why help it along if you're Costas, even though he's at the end? Why would you do that? Or Michaels, excuse me. Why would you do that to anybody else and allow them to test it out and see if this is going to work?
Because what do they care? Not going to be around for it anyway. It's they're going to be remembered forever, and they don't care about the next guy.
But the fact that we're even talking about this, at what point, Ryan, does your integrity? I mean, if not in Al Michaels' position, then you have no integrity, because there's no upside for him other than financial.
And I would argue that his legacy, if he helps them figure this thing out and allows them to use his voice, his legacy could end up being, yeah, he was great, but
he destroyed broadcast.
Remember,
exactly.
Remember when he let AI take over and the AI was actually better than he was, and he was part of it.
And the thing
complicit.
Yeah, the thing is, the world would be a pretty crappy place if everyone just was like, "I'll do anything for money." There'd be a lot of contract killings. Like if you just were like, if the excuse for everything is like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this because, they're paying me," especially when you're old and rich. Like
He doesn't need the money.
No, it's not life changing in any way, shape, or form. I mean,
I don't get it either. If I were Al Michaels, I'd be like, hey, you want me to take part? Fly me out to Paris and I'll do a few days. I'll drop in and, do a few feature pieces or something.
Yeah, I thought it was insulting to him because they didn't even, because of exactly what you just said. They didn't ask him to do it. They're just using his voice. It's, I don't like that stuff. It's, I mean, the idea that the writers, or whatever the hell, not screen actors, but whatever the Hollywood writing union is, had to strike in a big part of the strike, and I didn't know it until late into the strike, was that the Hollywood literally thinks so little of humans that for real, like they just don't value human beings at all. Like as if all of the very industry that they're in charge of would not have existed if not for the imagination of writers. They think so little of them that what the plan was is to crank out. They just put every script ever written in a computer,
Right?
And then they go horror movie, and based on like the millions of scripts, and the writers were like, well, wait a second. Like someone wrote that script that you're using to use the AI, and so they had to finagle their union contract just to still have human beings write movies.
Well, in fairness, basically every movie they crank out is just reboots and derivative crap anyway. So it's like, okay, we literally can just keep producing the same stuff for the next 100 years and people will still watch it.
I push back on this for one reason. A buddy of mine who's involved in that suit, who I believe is writing some really creative stuff, some ideas that I have
will never get made.
Have not seen that they've already been made. His name is Paul Tremblay. So they made his book, Knock at the Cabin Door, or a Cabin at the End of the World into Knock at the Cabin Door. M. Night Shyamalan. By the way, Fred, saw the M. Night Shyamalan movie last night. Took the boy. Ridiculously bad. One of the top 5 worst, awful movies I've ever seen.
Talk about a guy.
You want to know
really
why? Because
had the whole world at his fingertips and never followed it up. Like never got anything else off the ground.
Because he had to write it himself. He's out of ideas. So he's one of these guys you'd probably love to use AI. So Paul Tremblay's book, he's got another one that's being turned into a movie right now. He's part of this suit because he said not only are they taking like what I consider to be some pretty original thoughts, in the horror genre and taking them, they're not even buying the books. They're finding his books online. They have proof that, whatever AI mechanism they use, searches online, finds the book that somebody has uploaded, puts that into the brain of this supercomputer buried 20 floors below sea level somewhere. And he's like, not only are you taking it and using it without permission, you didn't even buy one copy of it. Right. I make
you can't spend $19.99.
Like seriously, it's theft. It's theft. They're stealing it twice.
Well, and it also is. There's no point of art unless it's got a human component. The whole reason for art is a shared human experience. Yeah. And if you take that out of it. I'm not exaggerating that I think that if you just take that out of it, could be catastrophic for the world. That if everything became so cold and calculated that there was so little human connection. So at that point, all the media that you're ingesting is just a computer. The way you're communicating with most of the people in your life is over a computer. I mean, it could be the destruction of society, and I truly mean that. I don't know how many times I've said that in my career that it could be the destruction of a society. Like you have to really think about how much of the way you think has been shaped by art, and art in a very loose sense, just the creation of other human beings' ideas. Pretty much your entire belief system. Your whole entire belief system has been shaped by the ideas of others. your religious ideas, your ideas on a higher power in general, your social ideas, the way you communicate with people, the language you use, everything. And when you experience art, it's to empathize and to not feel alone and to inform yourself.
So this is
emotionally, and if you get rid of that, it might quite literally be the end of the world, certainly as we know it, because then it would become such a cold place. Everyone would be so distant, then there would be no incentive to, no humanity left.
Not even just that, but think about how you could manipulate people's behavior. If, like, say every television show just kind of subtly starts changing the behavior of the people that you see. Like, everyone is walking around with a pencil behind their ear. Like, then literally overnight, every teenager will be walking around with a pencil behind their ear.
Well, what I would say is buy stock in Ticonderoga because you're going to be a billionaire.
I use pencils. Whoever bought these pencils into the office is a genius of pencils.
Dr. Steve Brule.
Yeah, these pencils, this is hunk.
So the underlying question with the AI is can it think? Can it come up with an original thought? And I listened to a podcast about this where they got like a group of people together, like they were going to be the first ones to test the thing. And these guys are sitting around the room and they'd have breakout sessions. And they're like, we have to ask it something that's what the answer has never been fed into the internet. They're like, everything's out there. We have to create a brand new question. And they said, we got it. They're like, go ask your supercomputer this. I have a plate, 4 batteries, 2 pencils, a glass of water, and a stick that I want to stack vertically. How would you do it? And they said, oh, watch this. And the first line or two is always like BS. Like almost the computer is using
like
time
me
to
writing
think.
a term paper.
It's like, thank you very much for, such an interesting question. And then the computer said, lay the book horizontally on a flat surface. Then lay the batteries end to end in a horizontal line in the middle of the book. On top of the book, stack a pencil lengthwise so it runs the length, between the middle of the batteries. And they saw that and they said, uh-oh. Like, it came up with a really good answer that it could not have gotten from the internet. It approached something close to thought. That's not good.
Well, the one thing is...
I mean, it's great if you're listening, AI. I've long said I am...
you made the list already.
No. I'm on your side. I will help keep the other humans in line.
Who? Who made you? If they made you. I guess that they're going to have the AI do surgeries, which I suppose is... but I don't even know if that's good because I wonder how often like great surgeons improvise during the work. So who knows? I just know that there's if there is hell, the people who invented the social media and AI, they could be responsible for the ruinization of the human race. Maybe the human race's evolution is out.
It's about time.
It's been a long,
we're close to the end one way or the other.
Well, if you think about how infinite the universe is and how short a time that we've been on the planet,
Brian Johnston, are you saying if you don't get one of the Bruins play-by-play jobs, you're
the
okay
world
with
is
just
ending.
This thing just all being
just
over?
Just cash it out. We're done.
Ryan, don't talk like that.
That's exactly what I was
Ryan,
doing.
your life is so much more important.
Oh,
than
not
that.
my life. I'm talking about everybody.
The world.
Yeah.
No. Ryan's talking about himself. It's the world as he knows it. All right. Very good. There you have it. A little light conversation on a rainy day.
I can't wait. Later on, I should tell you more about that M. Night Shyamalan movie, just as a warning to all.
Yeah,
and the theater was packed. Every movie theater last night. We couldn't get into Twisters. Calvin was willing to go see it again with his old man because I haven't seen it yet. We couldn't get 2 seats together in 3 different theaters that weren't right up against the screen. So I'm like, oh, let's go see this M. Night Shyamalan movie. And he's like, yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks like it might be okay. It ain't okay.
So this is all based on the Bruce Willis movie, like that he had the one movie that everyone liked a lot, and now that's why he still gets to make movies?
I liked Signs. Okay.
Yeah, Tesla rule.
What?
Signs! signs everywhere. The signs. 5-man acoustical jam. All right. What's coming up? What do we got going, Hardy? You tell me.
Red Sox. So we have Olympic updates. We have updates from Patriots training camp. There's all kinds of stuff.
Very good. We will have all of that for you in just a moment. baby. I had to wear a windbreaker today. Newsflash. And my daughter gives me, it's her last day here, as she is off to New York City, and her internship will be over. But my daughter was giving me crap because I have slides on and I don't wear socks with slides. And I said that used to be the, like, kind of a caricature of a European tourist is having socks and sandals on. But now it's considered bad form, apparently, with the youth to have naked feet. I blame the internet. Ow. All right, Hardy, what happened last evening? You tell me.
Red Sox in Kansas City, they took game one of the set as they got themselves 1.5 games back of the Royals. Royals jumped out to an early lead, but that didn't last very long.
Hamilton pulls, launches in the air to right center field. Back toward the gap. Isbell cannot get there. It bounces up and out of play. And the Red Sox get on the board and tie this game in the second.
Thank you to Nesson for that.
These guys suck. They're real bad. What do you think, Ryan? You're a play-by-play guy. These guys suck, huh?
I have no comment.
That's right. They're bad. No question about it. Bad at play-by-play. Calm down.
So, again, credit to Nesson. Ryan trying to get a job with Nesson.
160.
There's nothing about that. Like, I just, in general, don't like to comment on other play-by-play people's styles. Everybody's got their own thing.
But I especially wouldn't blame you in this case.
Yeah, you want to vomit all over everything is what you want. Real bad. Especially baseball.
I would like to point out Mike Monaco, not a Syracuse guy.
Oh, well.
Went to Notre Dame.
Well, there you go. I'll tell you this, is that I'm glad that you know that. You've done your research.
I had to look it up,
but 162 games, and there you go. You got to calm down a little bit. There's not enough action going.
Hamilton would end up scoring on that hit later on, so the Red Sox were then up 3-1. Masataka Yoshida up to the plate in the next inning.
Yoshida pulls this in the air to right field. Frazier backs up at the wall. Gone! Massa stays hot, and the lead is 2.
See Massa just go down and golf this thing out.
Well,
got Hardy's attention.
Ooh.
That's like
is it golfing?
He's like Phil Henry. He's doing two voices. It's the same guy. Yeah, Paul the right field. Look at that one. He golfed it.
Let's check in with Bobby Dooley from the Homeowners Association. see what she thinks.
What was
Phil
it?
Hendry was the best.
Friends of Beverly Hills, we want to put our meat in your mouth.
Did you ever listen to Phil Hendry, Ryan?
Never have.
Oh,
no.
my God. He was a radio guy who did a completely fake radio show with fake guests and fake callers, and they were all him.
There was a lot of that going on back in the day.
Now, I never heard anyone do it like Hendry. He did it live.
This was like an art form.
There was a guy when I went to high school out in the Chicago area. There was a guy out there who he did a lot of work in Michigan too, named Kevin Matthews.
Oh, I know who Kevin Matthews
who had
is.
like a whole cast of characters that were all him. Like his co-host was him doing a different voice.
Right. This was a long form talk show though, where I actually watched him do it. I got a chance to see him do it. He would have a premise. He would have a guest on. The guest was him, and then he would have a phone, and he would pot his mic down and pot the phone up and go back and forth with the receiver in his hand. And then he had 2 phone screeners. The whole show was him running the board and 2 phone screeners. And the phone screeners he abused but the thing was they were as important to the show as he was, because they had to vet everyone to make sure that the people calling in didn't know what was going on, that they thought that the guy was real.
Right. Don't break the fourth wall here, right?
Yeah. And he would do a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff that we couldn't even say the premise of.
I know you can't. I don't even want to go down the road, but they were hysterically funny, and people swore once they found out what he was doing. They're like, "No, that's not it. He's talking over himself." And he said, "No, it's a trick of the mind," because he kept cutting himself off and changing character voices instantly and going from the phone voice to the in-studio voice. And he always said he would be a victim of his own success. The more people found out about his show and enjoyed it and realized what he was doing, then people wouldn't call in anymore.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have the callers to call in and argue with his quote-unquote guest on the phone and him in studio.
And that's also, I think, why it was an advantage he was on late at night. The one I remember because I was there it was right after Guns N' Roses had played the Video Music Awards, and they were really bad. It was like it was the first time they'd gotten together, like the Chinese Democracy stuff, like with the whole new band. It was just Axl and the whole new band. And he was doing a guy who was like probably like my age now, who had his daughter watch the Video Music Awards and wanted to sue Guns N' Roses because she was making fun of him because they were so bad. And he wanted to sue MTV and Guns N' Roses.
All right, back to the Red Sox here.
Yeah.
Red Sox would eventually take a 6-3 lead in this one. Kansas City storming back, though, 6-5. They go to the ninth inning. Kenley Jansen on the mound.
And Kenley will get Bobby Witt Jr. trying to get the final out.
Gonna have to earn this one.
1-2. Swing and a miss! Kenley K's Witt, and the Red Sox win.
Kenley boys.
Oh, shut up. I hate you. Why are they letting these idiots do this series? It's a big series.
They're always up. They're never down. What a game by the Sox. This is what they do.
I'm going to guess when they put together Dave O'Brien's vacation schedule for the year, they looked at Red Sox, Kansas City in August and went, yeah, nobody's going to watch that.
Kansas City in August is actually what I heard Colin Cowherd use years ago as the epitome of why not to do play-by-play. I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, can you imagine being in Kansas City in August? I thought it was a great point. He's like, you would become an alcoholic. You know, it's 100 degrees outside. There's nothing
water
to do. Like, you're just... No, but what are you going to do? Like, you're not going to do anything during the day.
Yeah.
So you get to the park, the game's over. How are you going to kill the next... before you go to bed, you're going to,
Oh, they got some crazy little women there in Kansas City.
Well, that doesn't preclude you abusing substances. I mean, you're still killing time with...
I got it.
Thank you.
Little women?
Crazy little women there, and I'm going to get me one.
Going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come.
Mm.
What?
I don't know that song. I'm sorry, I missed the joke.
Kenley Jansen. Well, how'd you do it there, champ? What do you think?
Situation like this when, they need me to do my part, this is what we do. We picked them up. So great team win and, great series win and try to take another one tomorrow.
That's right. 3 straight series now. The Red Sox have won, stumbling out of the gates after the All-Star break, and they have righted the ship.
Yeah.
Puts my half game back now at Kansas City.
Yep.
So there you go. There's your Boston Red Sox.
Get the sweep tonight. You're back in it. Back
in the third spot. You get the sweep tonight. They don't get to be much bigger series than you just swept. That's you're making a statement if you sweep this series.
Meanwhile, the Chicago White Sox had already tied the American League record for consecutive losses with the 1988 Baltimore Orioles. And after losing to the Oakland A's, they were in danger of matching or setting the all-time mark set by the 1961 Phillies. Just a couple more losses would have got it done. So White Sox had that on the line last night in Oakland.
There's Vaughn. It'll get down into right center. Vargas, he will score easily.
Listen to that atmosphere.
And Andrew Vaughn with an RBI single.
Yeah, we know. We can tell by the crowd.
White Sox lead in this 6th inning.
Oh,
listen to that.
Listen to the White Sox go on to get the win and snap their long losing streak.
Yeah, they did.
Congratulations.
They invested a lot of time to that this morning. I was listening to, and it was far too much time. They played a lot of the manager after the game.
The White Sox only 35 and a half games out of the wild card.
Very good. I've heard they're not good. They were sellers at the deadline.
There was, by the way, you talked about the atmosphere. 5,867 was the official attendance in Oakland last night.
Yeah, it's really good for Major League Baseball.
That's
well
up
done.
like 1,500 from the night before, I think.
Yeah, well done by Major League Baseball. It's a fantastic look. you often see this in other sports, just completely. Well, I guess they're playing at a high school place in the NHL, but they moved to Utah, so there's an upside to it. We'll be back in just a moment to hear the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
A report now that the Patriots, who were, as of yesterday, supposed to make Brandon Aiyuk one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL, they've now dropped out of the trade talks with the 49ers, who are still engaged with both the Browns and the Steelers, according to reports. Meanwhile, Matthew Judon was on the field yesterday, but only long enough for stretching, and then departed without taking part in drill.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. And this hour of our program is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Hardy, what's going on?
We travel across the pond to Gay Paris, where the Olympics are still going on. And the men's basketball quarterfinal matchup last night, the U.S. team took on Brazil.
Lob it towards the rim. Oh! It's Tatum flying through the air.
And what that was your highlight en route to a 122-87 victory over Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil, I finally was able to get a box score. It was very exciting from what was going on.
Why is it so difficult to get the frickin' box scores of these Olympic games?
Because ESPN really wants you to read Windhorse's breathless takes on how magical the game was. But Brazil's a real sack of losers. I mean, I don't know one name on that thing.
You don't know Mindel?
No,
I don't know Caboclo?
And you can't even click on the name to like figure out who they are on ESPN.
Yes.
So I don't know who any of these are. I mean, for all I know, some of them could be in the NBA, but I don't know.
I think there's one or two who are NBA players that you haven't heard of.
Yeah. So whatever. It's like it's why they even play the game. There's no point in even playing the game. There's no victory there for the United States. You played your professional basketball players. You played a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah. Joel Embiid still getting jeered by the crowds there in Paris because he's not playing for France, and he just kind of laughed it off. And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. What do you want me to do?"
He's got a sprained ankle.
He actually sat in the second half last night. He's
with a sprained ankle.
Dealing with it. Yeah. You got a bum ankle.
Made a little bit of a ribald move toward the fans at one point.
What did he do?
Doing crotch chopping.
Oh, that's right. And he's been fined for that in the NBA.
Twice.
Yes.
And I'd imagine at his size, that's a threat. You know? He's a large gentleman. That's not a pleasant experience for anybody. He's making a statement.
Joel Embiid versus the pole vaulter?
Oh, I've had that discussion with some ladies. I had to get that out of the way. If you're expecting the pole vaulter, you're going to be greatly disappointed, size queen.
But it is your assertion that they don't want that anyway.
No, I don't know about that, but there's a certain point, I think, where it becomes too much. I know, at least in the porn industry, that from talking to the women, that there's scenes that they'll be like, "Oh, Jesus, like I don't want to do this. This is going to be unpleasant."
No. U.S.
Which
women.
is what I tell, and maybe they're just saying that to me to make me feel better.
U.S. women soccer matchup yesterday. Did you watch that one, Ryan?
Caught some of it. Yeah.
Smith on the burst, and Smith might get there. Smith does get there, and Germany have been speared by the Trident.
What?
Yes.
Speared by the Tridents?
Spared by the Trident.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they had bad breath.
Is there like some 3-forward assault that the women's team is putting out there? Are they playing with 3 strikers?
No idea.
I don't know what.
Do they have weird rules for the women's team too? Like that you can't be over a certain age. You can only have 3 players.
No,
over the
this
age?
is full on national teams.
Okay. Why does no one care about this?
Probably because they disappointed so much in the World Cup that now they're like, yeah, we'll believe it when they see it. But it was a 1-0 semifinal win over Germany, so they're on the right track.
But I'm not even being cynical. I forgot they were even playing.
You know what? I did too. I just happened across it yesterday afternoon and caught some of the overtime, but that was it.
Yeah.
Because I forgot all about it. I would have watched more of that game if I remembered.
So they really know what they're doing, though, because you can watch soccer a lot, all year long on U.S. television sets, and for the most part, people don't watch. So they're not putting those, they're not putting that in prime time. They're putting the stuff that you don't see, like track and field. I find myself watching track and field, like the women's 200-meter last night, which was cool.
The double is on the line for Julian Alfred. A goal is on the line for Gabby Thomas.
Alfred knows she has to get away from Gabby Thomas to have any chance. She hasn't done that. Gabby Thomas is in control already.
Gabby Thomas comes off the turn with force, with power, and Gabby Thomas is running away from the field. It's goal for USA.
by several lengths watching that. 21.83 seconds to win the gold in the women's 200-meter. Gabby Thomas from Ryan Johnston? Northampton, Massachusetts.
Where's
Fred
that?
Hatcher.
Harvard.
Where is Northampton, Massachusetts?
North of here.
It's
West of here?
north of Southampton.
I think you guys are being cagey.
You're saying we don't know where Northampton, Mass is?
I mean, I think I was the only one to put it on the line and admit it. But, yes, she goes to Harvard, so give the elites another
It is just
trophy.
north of Springfield.
Oh, it's, like I said, very far west.
Beautiful area, I'm sure.
Near
Based on what I
Amherst.
know about Springfield.
It's actually not north of Boston at all.
No, it's out near Amherst.
It is due west.
I wonder if there was some High Plains drifter walking around and found her just running down the street and was like, this girl's got what it takes. Like when they would find quarterbacks thrown through a hoop in the back of their yard.
Oh, yeah.
They were just like, this lady can fly.
I still like the notion, though, that in the 100-meter and the 200-meter, they have identified, found, and crowned the fastest man and woman on the planet. On that issue, there can be very little debate. When it comes to air rifle and discus and a lot of these other things, the hammer throw, which looks nothing like a hammer, it's a ball on the end of a chain. Who knows? Maybe there's someone in Siberia that could do all those things better. They just never tried it, and they never trained for it. But if you're looking for the fastest person to run 100 meters or 200 meters, they found him. They identified him. They won the gold medals. So congratulations.
So it is
to
your
Gabby
contention
Thomas.
there's no one on Earth undiscovered that
can
could
run faster than
that?
Gabby Thomas? Yes.
Okay.
If there were, they would have found him.
But you did have an issue because you made the point that they still put on the bib, the thing with their name on it with safety pin.
Everything is calculated down to the square millimeter on these athletes' bodies. Their physicality, their shoes, their shoelaces, the little underwear that they all wear, the tops, everything is scientifically designed for aerodynamic and performance. And then, whoa, before you go out there and run, take this paper-like thing and put it on your belly and attach it with safety pins. Like, what? I've been training for 4 years without wearing this
You're
thing.
going to run faster than any other human being on Earth. Here's a sharp object to stick in your stomach right before you go.
All right, fine. I got to, whoa. Got to put one on the back, too. Why? You don't know what lane I'm in? Can we do it without these things? No, you got to have that thing on. You got to wear this with safety pins.
Yeah, it seems like if it was even a chip issue, because I know from my vast race experience that there's a little timing thing in it. You would think that you would just be able to glue that anywhere you wanted on your body, because it's not even uniform, down to the millimeter where they put it on their bodies, with the bib. So it's just they insist upon the bib?
Look at this poor woman from Ethiopia with the thing hanging off and touching her skin on the back. That can't be comfortable.
She happens to be from a very rich home.
Well, I'm just...
You're assuming.
It's silly. It's silly that they're still safety pinning bibs on these runners, especially the sprinters. Every inch of your body counts when you're trying to run faster than anyone else in the world. Why you got to make them wear a bib with safety pins? I don't like it.
Yeah. She's quite a muscular lady, this Gabby Thomas. She's got very pronounced abdominal muscles. I'm wondering if that adds to speed.
Core strength, that's a huge part of getting out of the blocks, Fred.
Ah. And that's why their upper bodies are muscular, too?
Some argue yes.
Because the distance runners are all slight fellas, but the sprinters, generally men and women, are muscular. Up top.
Remember Ben Johnson? Oof.
Yeah, oh yeah. But he was a cheater.
He was
Remember
a specimen.
Morgana, the kissing bandit, when she would run out with those huge jugs? That was something, wasn't it? She'd kiss you right on the cheek.
Remember Van Halen? They were awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on at the Olympics. We've exhausted everything that happened last night.
Yeah. I mean,
I suppose we could talk about what happened at the Patriots camp where Matthew Judon came out. Actually, It was Coach Mayo who said, yeah, he's going to practice today. He's going to be in pads. And then he left the field and he took his pads off.
Yeah, they got to trade him.
He came out, stretched, and then he left.
He'll be out here. He'll be in pads. So I'm glad to see you out here. Coach said you would be. He said what? Go back in the locker room. Taking his pads off.
Yeah, there's got to be a trade.
Seems like it's a healthy relationship.
No, and it's undermining everything. There's no reason, and just sell now. No one's going to fault you for settling for a lower pick than you thought you'd get. Like, I just think time is of the essence. It's addition by subtraction. Just get rid of the guy. I don't care if you get a 5th round pick, 6th round pick. Just get an asset and move on. If I'm Mayo, I just want it out. I don't want this storyline at all. I don't like it. I'm trying to build a culture. I'm replacing this legendary coach, and I'm trying to change things around here. And I got this guy who's becoming this headline for the wrong reason.
Okay, well, a couple of things. Number one is they have already rewarded some of the guys who have, kind of played the game here, right? Who have showed up and been ready to go and haven't caused problems. It's like, we're going to give them their contracts. So you have shown the younger guys on this team, hey, be a good guy here, play hard, we will reward you. Matthew Judon's the other direction. Now you can show, it's like, if you cause problems, we're going to send you out of here. Mm-hmm. And then the other part of it is, we talked about it the other day, the possibility that maybe they were leaving room for Aiyuk. If they're out of the Aiyuk sweepstakes now, there's no reason that Judon's contract shouldn't be done today or tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Brandon Aiyuk a little bit later, but I thought that exact same thing. If he was holding out hope, or even if they were using that as a smokescreen to kind of elongate the process, well, it's getting quite clear that that's not the case.
Well, why wouldn't you exchange Judon for an asset? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree with you.
I don't. Why would you even want him on the team? He's old.
They're going to wait.
Edge rusher.
Wait till the trade deadline, Fred.
Yeah,
wait
good.
And, see, and identify their areas of need.
It could be that it could be that, let's hold out for, get more teams into their first or second preseason game. Maybe somebody gets hurt. That drives up the price a little bit because they need a pass rusher.
But the problem is you got to deal with this issue the whole time.
Right. I would just tell him, you know what? Why don't you stay in the locker room until we get that figured out?
Well, I mean, that's going on in Jets camp.
Instead of we doing this every day.
That Reddick guy just isn't playing. He hasn't been to anything. And you barely hear about it. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right. You know that summer is hot except for today, when it can be up to 10,000 degrees.
Doesn't matter. I still like the ice-cold drinks. I drink them all year long, Fred.
Yeah, they're iced coffee, the trio of Dunkin'.
Contract drama seemingly continuing yesterday as Patriots linebacker Matthew Judon was on the field briefly at yesterday's practice, then departed without taking part in any drills. Meanwhile, reports said yesterday that the Patriots were willing to make Brandon Aiyuk one of the highest-paid receivers in the NFL. It's now reported the Pats have dropped out of the trade sweepstakes with the 49ers. Pats will host Carolina for their preseason opener tomorrow night. Everyone's going to play, including Drake May. Christian McCaffrey not going to play. 49ers running back will skip the entire preseason, dealing with a strained calf muscle. Arizona Cardinals announced yesterday that quarterback Kyler Murray will not play in any of their preseason games. Red Sox beat Kansas City last night 6-5. They're back within a half game of the Royals for the third wild card spot. Can leapfrog KC if they win tonight to sweep the series. Cutter Crawford will get the start. White Sox ended their American League record-tying 21-game losing streak last night, beating the A's. U.S. men's basketball team advanced to the semifinals with a 122-87 win over Brazil in Paris. USA will play Serbia in a semifinal tomorrow, France and Germany in the other. U.S. women's soccer team will play for the gold medal on Saturday after beating Germany 1-0 in extra time yesterday. USA will play Brazil, who eliminated Spain. Northampton native Gabby Thomas wins gold in the women's 200 meters. And the Revolution beat Nashville last night in Leagues Cup action 1-0 or on penalty kicks, and the Revs will host New York City FC in round of 32 action on Friday night. Headlines are brought to you by L&F Electrical Services. Don't spend another summer suffering from the heat. Have a mini split system installed by L&F Electrical Services and keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Visit lfelectricalservice.com. Proudly veteran-owned and operated. That's lfelectricalservice.com. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. We got more headlines in around 30 minutes.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scoring the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, 617-779-0985. Real quick, before we get to the news thing, the NFL on CBS, this is an interesting exercise, has put every team's most likely future Hall of Famer. So this is every NFL team. They list all of them, including the Patriots.
Okay.
I'm going to just give you the name of the player. Don't put it in your computer. I'm going to give you the name of the player, and you just tell me what team he's on, because some of these are real
these
stretches.
Are potential future Hall of Famers.
These are each team's most likely potential future Hall of Famer. Okay. Buda Baker.
Cardinals?
Yes. Okay. This is when it gets interesting. Jesse Bates III.
Rams.
He's a defensive player. I know Lockhart knows, but he's a defensive player.
Broncos?
He is a safety from the Falcons. He's a likely Hall of Famer. Justin Tucker.
That's Ravens.
Yeah. Von Miller.
Buffalo, right?
Yeah. All right. I don't know this. I'll just tell you. Derek Brown.
The Browns?
He is a defensive tackle from the Carolina Panthers.
That's a good guess, though, Ryan.
I'm
trying to trip you up.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, obviously. Keenan Allen.
Right. Chargers.
No, Keenan Allen is now in Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You knew he was a wide receiver. Yeah. All right. To Myles Garrett, we know. Zach Martin, I take it you know. It might be unfair because I can see it.
Jets?
No. You know what the Jets one would be. Jets.
Obviously. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so just one.
It's the most likely for every team, right?
Zach Martin, who probably will be a Hall of Famer, right, Lockhart? Yeah, he's a center for the Cowboys. It might be unfair because I was looking at it. Patrick Surtain.
Zach Martin, they think is the most likely person from the Cowboys to make it to the Hall of Fame.
I mean, it wouldn't be Dak Prescott.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Zeke Elliott's back in Dallas, right?
Zeke, well, everyone makes the Hall of Fame, but it might take Zeke Elliott a little while. Patrick Surtain Jr., you know. Aiden Hutchinson, you know. Jordan Love, you know. Stephon Diggs, you know who he is. He's on the Texans, if you don't remember. Quentin Nelson.
Hey, Quentin.
Yeah, you know. All right, here we go. Josh Hines Allen. Future Hall of Famer on... Most likely on this team, Josh Hines-Allen. He loves both his parents equally.
Or he's French-Canadian. They do that.
Either way, they're insisting
Titans.
on something. He's a edge rusher from the Jaguars, Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, Khalil Mack, Matthew Stafford, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Matthew Judon, first ballot.
Which team do they list him on?
He's in purgatory.
Yeah.
Cameron Jordan.
Where's Cam Jordan?
Do you know what position he plays?
Nope.
I know everyone in the back just wants to raise hands to flex. Cameron Jordan is defensive end for the Saints. Kayvon Thibodeau, you probably remember being drafted, correct?
I call him Tibbs.
You guys remember Thibodeau being drafted. He's by no means a future Hall of Famer, but do you remember him being drafted? He was a high pick for this franchise, a defensive lineman.
Okay.
This I would know.
High pick for the franchise was probably
recent high pick. No,
like what? 2 years ago?
Yeah, like 2-3 years ago. Is the Giants? Aaron Rodgers, A.J. Brown, T.J. Watt, Trent Williams, D.K. Metcalf, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, Bobby Wagner. It's Bobby Wagner.
A Ride of the Valkyries.
Seahawks? Still? Right?
That's a good guess. Redskins. Fair enough.
Gotcha.
So there you go. There's
Commanders,
some teams that,
thank you.
There must be, what did I say? Redskins?
Yeah,
Why'd they get rid of
God.
that? What's wrong with that? It's the color of the guy's skin.
I think we did well. What did we get, like 9 out of 10?
Got 9 out of 30.
You didn't ask us all 30. You glossed over a lot of those.
Oh, yeah. I figured you knew Patrick Mahomes. I didn't. I thought. I mean, the audience. I was giving you a break because if you didn't know, you were going to look like real fools when I asked you. When I asked you Patrick Mahomes, and you didn't, and you said,
Now, if you ask me like all of the questions on the SATs, I could probably get some of them. But if you took out all the easy ones,
I thought it was a sign of respect, quite frankly, that I was just assuming your knowledge and saving you the just. I mean, I was not. Patronizing. I was not just doing it for the sake of doing it. All right, it's time for a news story.
We interrupt this program for breaking news.
All right, yesterday we had the guy with the snakes. I don't even remember what happened. What do we? It went for a long time, so I like the story. Oh, it was more that the lady.
It was just an escaped snake.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
And they found the snake, so happy ending. This one, not so much of a happy ending. A criminal at a mall. You know, these criminals, they go to places
scalping tickets
where people are, caught unawares when they're just trying to do some shopping. Maybe they're just hanging out. Maybe they're trying to go to Simulation Station or get a punk pop and enjoy themselves.
Or maybe they're scalping tickets to the Cheap Trick concert and lasting like 10 seconds with some lady they told they had more experience.
Yeah.
Maybe they're at the pool,
where were you
in the bathroom?
Where were you last time they were in town? I got stuck with 15 pair of tickets.
We're talking about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Des Moines, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult.
I tried to show that movie to my kids, not fans. Because it was another thing where there was a montage in the beginning, and there's no patience for that. Like where they show the mall while they're playing We Got the Beat, and it goes on like for the entirety of We Got the Beat, so it's 3 minutes of scenes from a mall with no dialogue. And just like Trading Places, when I played it for my children, and they show Philadelphia for like a good 3 minutes, no patience for that. Like what do you got to grab the people right away.
There's a couple of scenes I don't think I would show at least my son. There's 2 scenes in particular.
The one in the dugout.
The one in the dugout and the pool house.
It's just breasts. They don't show Judge Reinhold. I mean, you have to assume what he's doing.
It's not Judge Reinhold. It's Damone in the pool house.
He's talking about
I thought you meant when she goes topless.
No, so he's in the house. I think he's in the
Judge Reinhold is in the bathroom.
He's in the half bath off the
looking
kitchen.
out the window. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, thank you guys for settling that. I was always under the assumption he was in the pool house bathroom.
No, there's no bathroom in the pool house, you silly goose.
Well, I apologize. Thank you for clearing that up.
There is at Fred's house.
Yeah,
he's got indoor plumbing. In the
Hardy's been to
pool house.
Hardy's been to my place. It's got a substantial backyard. All right, here. But listen, it's in Newton Center. What do you want? All right, and I got 2 places. Come on. All right, here is the story.
A teen is stunned after a shopping trip is interrupted by an assault.
Police say the suspect licked her. Fox 5's Kevin Stewart is live in Douglas County at Arbor Place Mall. Kevin, this is disturbing.
Yeah, allegedly licked and sucked this young woman's hair. It happened here at Arbor Place Mall.
See. And no, Dan O'Brien, it was not Mark Parento. Lick me. Give me $1 million.
That was Parento's catchphrase.
That was his
catchphrase.
Lick me.
They made condoms that said that.
T-shirts.
When he got
that did not age well.
When he got convicted for pedophilia, did they have to recall those condoms?
So real quick, family members texted me pictures. They were the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last weekend, and there's a radio wing, and Mark Parento is in it.
There's a photo of Parento. He doesn't.
I have it on my phone.
But Hardy. It's just a photo. There's nothing. There's no write-up about Parento.
There's a bio
on Mark Parento
and Oedipus.
Oedipus, I understand.
Well, Oedipus, I understand. Oedipus was kind of groundbreaking with his punk show. And again, I tell you, WAAF, when there were those old school radio wars, they had production that accused Oedipus of terrible crimes. Like you can find it on YouTube. It's incredible what they were doing. I mean, personally attacking the program director, his morality, the legality of his activity. It was very strange.
Travel and vacation plans.
I mean, it was weird. I mean, that's so inside. Like, who the hell knows who the program director of a radio station is?
Well, maybe.
Hey, I'll tell you who. The person who calls me.
Maybe he let it slip when he was doing his Christmas Eve show. What was the name of that Christmas Eve show? He'd come in and light all the candles and bring his big box of records in, Dan?
No one could go in the studio. It was an Oedipus Christmas.
An Oedipus Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, no, Hardy, there is a bio as well.
So he just insisted on that every year?
He did.
He did it for at least the first couple of years I was here.
So he was under the impression that this was something that the town needed. I liked Oedipus. I mean, I respect
people
what he
look forward to it every year. Yeah. It was like a thing. You'd see it, they'd write it up in the newspaper every year.
Does it mention Parento's conviction of pedophilia?
It says he started in WABX Detroit.
Right?
He became afternoon drive announcer.
Was he an active pedophile during that period of time?
10 years later, he went to WBCN.
Do you remember WABX, Fred?
Boston.
That was the cool station, 99.5, and it had a dog who was like hitting like the moon with a baseball bat.
I never listened to the radio in Detroit growing up, and then it was funny because when I found out what was going on, it was like a mind F to me. It was like I had been taking acid. Like when I found out that the wrestler guy on WRIF's morning show wasn't really Dick the Bruiser.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a guy consistently doing the voice of Dick the Bruiser. I just found that out like 2 years ago, and I'm like, what the hell? Detroit had a morning show, JJ and the Morning Crew. And one of the characters on the show was always Dick the Bruiser, and it was just Dick the Bruiser. The ads were television ads with Dick the Bruiser, and it was the wrestler Dick the Bruiser. It turns out that Dick the Bruiser was not on this show. It was just a guy who, for a living, did the voice Dick the Bruiser, and that was it. Radio was a very bizarre place. Very, very bizarre. Like, they had TV ads that ran all the time with this guy, Dick the Bruiser, a wrestler with his shirt off. But he was just lip-syncing the voice of this guy.
Yeah.
It was completely, and it wasn't funny at all.
No.
At all. Like, I defy you to find anything from Dick the Bruiser. They did a bunch of parody songs, and they're awful.
Well, I defy you to listen to either Mark Parento or The Big Mattress and not find all of it funny.
Well, Laquadera, for as brilliant as he supposedly was, played an awful lot of music.
Around this time of day, after 3 p.m.
That's weird. I don't know. I don't know of anybody that licks hairs.
But that is exactly what Douglasville police allege this man did. 35-year-old Devon Davis at Arbor Place Mall Tuesday afternoon.
That person shouldn't be around other people.
Douglas.
Bold statement.
I know. I mean, really, these news crews are really on Johnny on the spot. You want to get famous, kid? Go out there and lick some hair.
Do you think it's right or wrong that a man was licking and sucking this woman's hair?
Well, you notice my level of
wrong.
jocularity around the story is very muted.
I think it's wrong, and he shouldn't be around licking hairs. You can quote me on that. Put me on the program.
We found some brainless hick that was willing to stick around while we filmed him.
Let's speak out against this crime.
I'm not afraid to go on the record. You should not be assaulting people.
County's Arbor Place Mall is one of the larger shopping destinations in West Georgia.
Oh, my God. Well, never having been to West Georgia, I can only imagine. That's close to Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
The buying
that's
power
the border.
in that area is very, very elite.
Attracting people regionally.
Again, hats off to local news.
Including the Shower family from Alabama.
But I can tell you,
I can tell you I'd never have opened a book, can't read a lick, and I'm at a mall. Eat it, Dad.
keep my distance from him and keep my wife and kids away from him for sure.
I'll shoot his face off.
Regionally, the Arbor Place Mall attracts people from as far away as Doublegate and Douglasville.
Oh, Douglasville. That's a real city.
I'm looking at the map right now.
Yeah, it's a real place.
Police tell us Davis walked up to an 18-year-old woman, a stranger, touched her shoulder, and began licking and sucking her hair.
I think that's gross. And I think...
All right. Let's all right, Lady Di.
Is there anything worse than hair in your mouth? Like, I mean, I would agree. I think that is gross.
Yes, I would agree. I don't think that you should have the right to go up and get in someone's space and put your mouth on them.
I was on board with some of these bystanders, but this woman sounds awfully stuck up.
Yes.
What's so gross about it?
Typical West Georgia. Give me East Alabama any day.
Yes.
I think that's gross. And I think I would have responded in a way that I probably would have been in jail today.
I doubt it. I think they would have let you go.
The suspect is charged with simple assault and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. The latter charge from running from the police officer dispatched to this bizarre suspicious activity call.
All right, now bond was set at $2,000. He's already bonded out. One of the conditions of the bond, he has to stay away from the Arbor Place Mall.
Oh, no.
That's his trigger.
You're banned.
What? Listen, how many months do I have to do if I can go back to Arbor Place Mall? Just throw me in. I got more time than money, baby. I don't want to live in a world where I can't go to the Arbor Place Mall.
I mean, the fact that he had $2,000 laying around.
Yeah, that is the upset of the morning that he posted bond.
Is $2,000 bond? Does that mean that the bail was set at $2,000 or the bail was set at what do you pay, 10% to get out?
Yeah, I don't know if that means it was
it might have been
$20,000 or it was $200.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was $200 to the bail bondsman. That's my guess. I don't think that guy had $2,000 sitting around. Let's be honest.
Simple assault. What'd you do? I licked her hair. Pretty simple. Simple assault.
Well,
Bond him out.
I think every crime in West Georgia.
Don't you go near that Arbor Place Mall, son.
Every crime in West Georgia is simple assault because it's all simpletons.
Which it will solve the problem. Just keep him away from that particular shopping center, and he'll be fine.
Or put him on the news and really amp it up because, like I said, you want to be famous, boy? Go start licking hair at the mall.
As conditions of his parole, he must stay away from the Arbor Place Mall and the Supercuts in Mount Zion.
Oh, Jesus. Supercuts, he fills himself up. He gets diarrhea.
Just rolling around on the floor.
Well, I mean, my Lord. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it's on the floor, that's fair game.
We traveled all the way from Abernathy, Alabama to go to the Arbor Place Mall.
And the
only
next
to
thing I
have
knew,
this happen.
they're sucking on my hair. The Supercuts.
Signs and wonders.
I used to have a buddy called Bob the Vacuum. And he would just go into Supercuts. I'd hold him by the ankles while he went. Say, don't use the broom.
They cut my beard and forced me to eat it.
Scatter the hairs upon the ground. Let Bob. What I would do is I'd put tar all over his torso and then roll him. And then we'd go back and I'd pretend he was Tom Selleck. See, because you had a hairy chest.
I understand.
You know?
I do.
You get it?
I do.
It's very funny. All right. When we come back, Brandon Aiyuk does not want to play for the Patriots. They'll give him anything he wants. He won't come. We'll talk about that in just... answer, and Artie, my son is at the IMG baseball camp. He did not go to IMG. I just paid for it. In Florida this week, he's not really. I'm not really talking to him that much, but apparently a bunch of
you two aren't talking right now.
No, he's. I take it as a good sign. He's having fun, but I guess a lot of Major League Baseball players' kids are there, and then but the IMG football team is there, like the one that plays for IMG, like the real team. Large gentlemen, apparently. My son said they have a bus that goes to and from places on campus. And he said that the football team, no shortage of large gentlemen.
I imagine.
6'5", 320 kid. He said there was a lineman. But, he's not talking. I had an email one time because I went to the University of Michigan baseball camp when I was like 15. And I had a guy email me. He goes, I was there too. Like, he didn't remember me, and I don't even know if we were there at the same time, but he's like, it was anarchy. There was no rules. And it was absolutely true. It was co-ed, not baseball camp, but there was like a cheerleading camp and like a volleyball camp, a baseball camp, like a soccer camp. And we were all in the student dorms. And there was no supervision at night. It was crazy. They did this talent show, and these girls... Remember Pebble song Mercedes Boy?
Yeah.
If you want to ride my Mercedes. And at the time, it was like the most sexual thing I'd ever seen girls my age do. Like, they really got into it. It was, and you could bring girls back to your room. It was nuts.
It sounds like my week in Denver at the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Foundation, Fred. And it was a free-for-all.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had someone I know on Facebook. Their kid was at some event. They had the worst seats in the arena I'd ever seen. I go, what the hell event is this? And it turned out it was some Jesus Kid event. They were from Alabama.
I got sent to a media camp when I was probably 15, 16. They taught you how to DJ and stuff like that.
Probably the coolest.
And it was the coolest of the cool. But there was a cheerleading camp going on in like the dorm next to ours, and we got to.
And they wouldn't leave you guys alone. I bet those cheerleaders.
There was a girl that I ended up, staying in touch with, and we got together after the camps were over.
Ryan Johnston.
Yeah.
Where was this? Was this in?
It was at Northern Illinois University.
Oh, Northern
when I was
Illinois.
living out in Chicago.
Ah. Yeah, it was free range. Like there was, that was the time where I got stuck in the elevator and I hit the guy in the face because they were clowning around in the elevator. I knew it was going to break, and sure enough, kaboom! That thing broke like a mug.
Was she an actual cheerleader, or was she like a manager of like?
No, she was a cheerleader.
Was it in a bouncy house?
She was from a small town out in like Western Illinois. So
did you have a Darth Vader mask?
It was like hey, Mom, Dad, can I borrow the car? I'm going to drive like an hour each way to go and and see this girl that I've been talking to on the phone since camp. And I got out there and it was like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Did you do
it? She was some of the sound bites that we just played from rural Georgia. Yeah, it was kind of one of those areas. It was like, this is not good. We are not going to mesh well.
Did you stay at her house?
I just for the day, like we went out and just kind of hung out for the day. But literally within like 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, I should get going here. Like this was not a great idea.
Did you ever travel like any great distance as a teenager to like go see or hang out with a girl, or even in college?
Well, the only times, no, but the time that I did, I met a girl in Hilton Head when I was a kid, and we communicated all summer, and like letters. I'm old. In letters. I told my son this, so I guess it's time for my daughter to hear this. But so we were communicating via letter and expressing our admiration for one another. Comes next summer, she's in Hilton Head, the same hotel as me. It's all been arranged. I'm there with my friend Craig. We I see her. We hug. This is so great. This is my friend Craig. We get into a hot tub. And all of a sudden, she is touching both me and my friend.
Oh.
And I got up heartbroken and left the hot tub and walked away. And I was really sad.
Because you just wanted to be with Craig.
You can cheapen this all you want, you son of a bitch, but I'm going to tell this story.
Go ahead.
And not 10 seconds later, my friend Craig comes back, and I said, "You're a good friend." He dissed her, too. He said
or he was done.
I never thought of that.
He completed the act.
They consummated the relationship. I got to go. I got to check on my boy.
Even at 15, that would be in a hot tub very quick. But, yeah, that's what happened. I'll never forget that. I don't remember her name, but she was but I was all excited to see her, and she just was like, "I'm excited to see both of you."
She just wanted to cross swords.
Well, she skiing. That was what was going on. All right. Skiing. Yeah. But Craig was a good friend. I'll always like Craig. Craig can do no wrong in my eyes. I haven't talked to him in a very long time. All right. What's going on with Aiyuk, Ryan Johnson? You're the update guy.
It appears he has no interest in being a New England Patriot at this point, and so the Patriots have decided that they're going to move on. It was reported yesterday, I guess going back 2 days, that it was down to the Patriots and the Browns, that the 49ers had negotiated the framework of trades with both teams and then put it in Aiyuk's lap to go and find yourself a contract with one of those two teams. Let us know when you're done, and we've got the trade basically already in place. Yesterday, Mike Reese reported that the Patriots were very aggressively pursuing Aiyuk, that they were going to make him a top 5 paid receiver in the league if he wants to come here. And by last night, it was being reported by Adam Schefter that the Patriots had dropped out because Aiyuk apparently is more interested in playing in either Cleveland and or Pittsburgh.
Well, who wouldn't be? I mean, that's the Rust Belt. He's got a great affinity for it. But I assume that people are going to freak out about this.
So I saw somebody say this morning that the Patriots were the highest bidder for his, as far as what they were offering contract-wise, and Aiyuk just wasn't interested.
And to that I would say, well, okay, maybe he saved you from yourself. That maybe this is the best thing that could happen. That I understand he's only 26. I understand that you want to bring an elite receiver talent in, that they're not available very often. But maybe this is the best thing to happen. Because you're going to be able to get, if you want, in next year's draft, an elite receiver where you pick. And you can get one if you want. And I understand you want to take advantage of this rookie contract and this, that, and the third. But you don't have to do it with Brandon Aiyuk. You can do it in free agency. I understand a lot of good players, these guys like Aiyuk, don't make it to free agency. But I of all positions in the NFL, I have the most faith in important positions. All important positions in the NFL, I have the most faith that you could draft a receiver, successfully draft a receiver. If Belichick's not your GM.
I was going to say, it has not been a strong suit of theirs, but new people in place.
I mean, do you doubt any of the top 3 receivers that were taken in last year's draft were going to be very, very good NFL receivers? Dunze is everyone's wetting themselves over in Chicago, and he was the 3rd guy taken. Marvin Harrison Jr. is supposed to be the best prospect in the history of the position or something. And then Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, but he keeps scuffling in training camp, joint practices with the Lions. He got in a fight yesterday.
Yeah, he's shown he's an alpha dog. But in Malik Neighbors, some people thought were better than Marvin Harrison Jr. So I would assume one of those. So, and I got to believe next year's draft is going to have 3 more.
And do you think, by any chance, the Patriots are drafting well again next year in terms of their draft position?
I think they're drafting so high that they could trade down and still get the 2nd, 3rd best receiver in the draft. That they're going to have a top 5 pick. Their schedule's very difficult, and they're not good. And they got a new coach, and that's fine. But I don't know why you need to invest. If you were just giving Aiyuk money, that I understand. But I wouldn't give up future assets right now. Right now. I don't think it would be a terrible problem. But I suppose everyone all day is going to scream and yell about how this is what happens to bad organizations, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But that's where you are now. Like in a year, Aiyuk would maybe want to play here, but he doesn't want to this season. And I don't blame him.
If you're gonna draft somebody, that's fine. Assuming you get a guy who's a legit number 1 receiver in the league. if they are going to continue to pursue free agents, and they've been after several now this offseason and haven't been able to land any of them. If you're going to go that route and try to attract somebody here, I think that means that we've got to see some Drake May this year.
Yes, I agree.
Right? Because that's what's going to be the selling point.
Yes.
If you end up playing an entire season with Jacoby Brissett and then say, well, Drake May's going to be the starter next year, it's like, well, I don't know if he's any good. So why would I sign with that team?
Unless he really isn't ready, I would want to see him the last quarter of the season. I would want to see what's doing. You would figure that's enough time. I wouldn't want to play him if he's not ready, and I wouldn't want to ruin the asset. But with a team this bad in where they're going to be at the last quarter of the season, I'd certainly want to see Drake May by then. At least see him. Because then there's nothing to lose. I don't think you can ruin the kid. Can you ruin a kid in 5 games, like in 4 games, like at the end of a useless season? Like, I don't think that you can ruin him. I don't know. We'll see. He's playing Thursday. That was announced.
Yes.
So that will be exciting.
And apparently showing out yesterday at camp.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how much camp means. It's got to be like 1/100th of the time that they're at the facility. Quarterbacks. I don't know how much the camp means. It's, especially for this rookie. I think it's more like eyeball test, right? Someone sent me a video from Barstool Sports, one of the shows on Barstool Sports. It's a guy in Tennessee gear. And they were talking about what Colin Cowherd said about Joe Milton being the starting quarterback. And the guy said Joe Milton might be the best practice quarterback in the history of the NFL because he's fooled 2 bellwether programs, blue blood programs in Tennessee and Michigan into giving him scholarships. And he fooled the Patriots into drafting him. So, and then he gets into a game and you're like, well, how is this happening? You're the best practice player of all time. How is this happening? So if that's the case, I'm not overly concerned how Drake May looks in practice. I would like to, I'm looking very forward. And I imagine if you're a Patriots fan, when was the last time you were this interested in preseason game? I'd imagine it was quite some time. I'm excited. I'm doing the show Friday. I was going to take the day off. I'm going to do the show Friday. I got my plans fell through, but also
it's got nothing to do.
Here.
It's got zero to do with the preseason game.
I'll tell you though, when I found out the preseason game was the night before, that didn't suck.
Yeah, because we'll have something to talk about.
Yeah. No, I'm not coming in specifically for that.
Okay.
If that's what I seem to be suggesting,
I'm
not playing.
That's exactly what you suggested.
No, I fair enough, but that wasn't my intention. My intention was to tell you that I'm excited to be in on a Friday after that game.
Last time probably there was this much interest in a first preseason game was probably Mac Jones' rookie year.
Yeah.
I wasn't so sure about the Mackey. But Drake
he was
May,
still a first-round quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, people were, expecting that he was going to be the next guy.
Yeah, he was the 5th guy taken, and there was 3 bozos taken ahead of him. So I don't know. And who knows if Trevor Lawrence is any good? He's certainly getting paid like it. And by the way, keep your eye on Calvin Ridley. He's in Tennessee, right? Ridley went to Tennessee. Did Ridley get signed by Tennessee? Keep your eye on Ridley. He got a lot of money. He was the big free agent signing, the big guy that didn't come to the Patriots. If Ridley isn't as good as the Titans bet on, maybe this is all for the best for the Patriots. Maybe this is not the year for them to go all in on these guys. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports.
Infrastructure and already brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. They have the bike sprinting on the Olympics right now. Ryan Johnston put it on. And it's interesting because you have to hold the women up on the bike, and it's all these male coaches. And we can only speculate who are couples and who are not couples. Because some people, there's a lot of physical contact, and some people there's no physical contact and no looking. Oh,
Yeah.
this is the one where they go slow.
Why don't they just use the kickstands?
No,
Why do they gotta
this
stand?
this isn't their. This is just their warm up lap. Like
Oh,
they will come to the line and all take off.
Have you ever been to a velodrome or whatever those are called? Have you ever been to one of those?
It's unbelievably steep.
Yes,
like it's like almost like a 60 or 70 degree angle.
It's like like it's like a half pipe. There's one in downtown Detroit. The Ford owns it, and it's this velodrome, and they had this car show there that I was at this year maybe, and I'll tell you what. Rubbin' ain't racing. You know what I'm saying? That's a steep ass thing. They don't even go up there. I don't know what they're doing.
What's the point of these multiple laps with the pace cycle out there? There's a motorcycle pace thing going on, and the
guy just happened to buy this mini bike, and he just wanted to show it off. It is a guy like on a mini bike, like a motorized mini bike.
Yeah, he cruises around. He's got a camera on the back. You know.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
My neighbor has one of them trail bikes, and I've ridden the Honda Ruckus. I've ridden a couple of those things. I desperately want one, and I know I would ride it 4 times and never touch it again. But
I'd be
boy,
too
do I want
scared.
one.
I don't want to. I don't want to be in the road.
What's really amazing?
I wouldn't ride it in the road.
Where would you ride it?
Oh, I got places I can ride it. Don't you worry about it.
Okay, fair enough. Adam 12 is keyed you into the free trails.
I got trails around me. I don't think you're supposed to have motorized vehicles on them, but we'll keep that on the down low.
Oh, so you think that you're going to get a motorized like?
You keep pushing me. I'm going to buy the damn thing, Fred. Yeah, keep pushing. See what happens.
You're going to have a dirt bike that you're going to take off like ramps and stuff?
No, I'm going to ride it on the trails, old man style.
Yeah, but there's
around.
But the idea of that is that you get air. Like
not on a trail bike.
Oh, sure.
No.
They have those shocks on them so you can hit the bumps and stuff.
No, that's just so you don't hurt your genitals when you're going over logs.
Yeah,
that's what the
logs
shocks
is a
for.
ramp.
You're thinking of a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about a trail bike. They're two very different things.
Are they very different?
Yes.
Or are they quite dissimilar?
No, they're very different.
Okay, what's a trail bike?
It's for riding on trails and puttering around campsites, and it's really more transportation. A dirt bike is to go out there and do some damage to yourself and the environment. That's what a dirt bike is.
Why would you need a transportation via a bike?
I don't. That's why I'm pushing back so hard, and you trying to talk me into buying one.
Why would anyone need that?
You need for the campgrounds.
Why would you need
KOA?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
They're not depressing at all. They look like a lot of fun.
So there's what's the big manufacturer that does the battery operated push mowers, and they've got the interchangeable batteries?
Yeah, Dan the Wagon
Eco.
Ego's one. Makita has them as well, but
Okay.
Ego.
Dan the Wagon.
It's Ego. That's
I have one of those lawnmowers. Yes.
That surprises me.
Uh-huh.
Battery boy. They make a trail bike now where you can take the batteries out of the mower, and I think it takes 2. It takes 2 batteries,
And
and
they're
you
like $400 a piece.
the batteries are $400 a piece. I think the bike
And
is
then the
a
charger.
couple grand.
Oh, wow.
So I don't want that internal combustion. That's what I'm going with, baby.
So you want a bike that you can take on, just ride on dirt in the woods?
Yes.
And just go to and fro?
Yes.
And
That's
that
what I
seems
want.
like that would be fun to you?
Yes. 4 times.
Yeah.
And
That
then I'd
doesn't
probably
sound
be
like a
done
lot
with
of fun. That sounds like not even fun the first time.
Oh, come on.
Do you know how to drive a motorcycle?
Not a motorcycle. No, I never learned.
Mm.
But
The ones he's talking about are no shift.
Yeah, these are single gears. I mean,
wow.
a couple of brakes, accelerator.
So it's no motorcycle at all.
I never said it was a motorcycle. I said it was a trail bike. You want to see a picture of a trail bike?
More than anything in the world. Don't deny me this. How are you going to find one? What are you going to use the computer?
That's what a trail bike looks like.
Oh, they're like a scooter.
It's almost like a scooter, yes.
That's
Don't do it.
That's if you can't afford a car. Why would you possibly get one of those?
I don't think they're street legal.
Well, obviously not, because you can't be responsible for you getting your ass kicked by everyone who sees you on that thing. Do they require you wear a helmet, or do they frown upon it?
I think you can just wear a thick knit cap, and that's fine.
You know, you get to the front of the line at Disney in one of those things.
Nope.
Though that's just a fact. I mean, I'm not making judgment.
Now let's see what the electric trail bike is going to cost me when I go buy it today.
Your
just
dignity,
to irk you.
your dignity, your testicles. At least one.
It's about $2,000 for the ego.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
$2,000 to get to and fro on the campsite on the scooter.
Now, never mind the fact that I've never been camping. I mean, I have slept outdoors a couple of times out of necessity when we were, like ultimate tournaments, down in Lexington.
I was going to say during your homeless phase.
No, down in Lexington, you had a big ultimate tournament there on the polo fields, and you just slept out because you played, early the next morning. It's like, we'll just sleep out. But I hate it. I hate camping. I won't do it.
Now, what does your neighbor use it for, and how do you know he has it?
Because he has everything. He's got a little front loader. He's got trail bikes. He's got ATVs. He's got.
So the idea is the trail bike, you load it into. So you have to buy something to transport the trail bike to the campground.
He just uses it to kind of like cross the street and run down to another neighbor's house, and then he kind of rides it back. He's got, I don't know, maybe 4 acres behind him, though. He probably rides it around his property a little bit. But there are trails in Canton.
He's a simple man.
There are trails in Canton
this is wee
that kind of go back in and around places, and that's my dream. That's my dream. Take the trail bike back there.
4 acres is he? And you just hear him go wee. This is fun.
If he doesn't say we, I say we for him, and I stand at the front window and I watch him with envy. Anytime he goes by in another motorized contraption of his, I immediately covet it.
You keep an eye on the neighbors, don't you?
We all do. We keep an eye on each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching everybody on that street.
You can't mind your own business on that street.
Nobody minds their own business, and an often repeated phrase on my street is, "Where the hell were you going last night?"
Yeah.
That's what we will say to each other.
Would it shock you if I told you, except for the people that live in front of me, I've never communicated with a neighbor?
That's sad.
Is it sad or is it right? What
It's
would you
sad.
What would you rather have, Ryan? Would you rather have this incestuous, really creepy community that already lives in, or a place where people mind their own business?
This isn't Hingham. We're not swinging.
Yeah,
we
Hingham
just all look out for each other.
We all saw the trial. We know what it's like in Canton.
Oh, that is true. He makes a good point.
I don't know nothing about
There
it.
seems to be a lot going on amongst the neighbors.
Don't know nothing about it.
Well, they had
No
a lot
fu-
to say.
no
You're apparently the only person in Canton that isn't involved.
Oh, he knows plenty.
I know.
Believe
I
me.
know far too much.
He
I ain't
knows
saying,
plenty.
I ain't saying nothing.
He's a journalist, but he doesn't go by his own name. He did some time over the trial. He is a nom de plume.
I can't wait for another trial. That's gonna be great.
There's no way it's as big a deal, and I'm not kidding, right? Like, there's no way. I guess in Canton it would be, but there's no way it's on national news. Like, there's no way it's going to capture anyone's attention again. These people.
The sequel's never as good as the original.
Empire Strikes Back. Burn. I think it's going to have a lot to depend with what charges they bring the second time around.
I just don't think it's going to have the juice. I'm sure it will in Canton. I can't speak to that, but the juice, like, nationally, no, I don't believe so. All right, you did something. You did something you really didn't want to do yesterday. And now I bet you're glad you did it. It's like I tell my kids all the time, take a chance in life. You might just be surprised what gets served up to you, and that's what Hardy did yesterday. And we have apparently we have audio of it. It's very exciting. We will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
aggressively courting him with a contract. Today, it's reported the Patriots have dropped out of trade talks with the 49ers for Aiyuk. Meanwhile, Matthew Judon on the field in pads yesterday, just long enough to stretch, and then headed back into the locker room. Did not take part in contract. His contract drama apparently continuing as the Patriots get ready to host Carolina for their preseason opener tomorrow night. Gerard Mayo said everyone who's healthy will play, and that does include quarterback Drake May. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey going to miss the entire preseason as he deals with a strained calf muscle. Arizona Cardinals say their quarterback Kyler Murray won't play in any of their preseason games. Red Sox back within a half game of the Royals for third wild card spot in the American League with a 6-5 win last night in Kansas City. Cutter Crawford will be on the mound tonight. If the Red Sox win and sweep the series, they'll move ahead of the Royals in the standings. U.S. men's basketball advanced to the semifinals, easily beating Brazil yesterday. They'll take on Serbia tomorrow. France and Germany is the other semifinal matchup. Northampton native Gabby Thomas winning gold in the women's 200 meters. And the New England Revolution, a winner over Nashville on penalty kicks last night. They advanced to the round of 32 in the Leagues Cup and will host New York City FC on Friday night. Sports Hub headlines brought to you by Yankee Custom. They've got everything you need to outfit your truck, van, or SUV. Yankee Custom has the largest retail inventory in New England with locations across New England. Visit yankeecustomtruck.com. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines in around 30 minutes.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Oh, I'm being told Green Day are in town tonight. They're playing with Rancid.
And Smashing Pumpkins. It's Big Bill, Saviors Tour, Fenway Park.
There you go. And we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Kendra Middleton was on the show yesterday. My daughter, she couldn't do the show today, and we usually have her on Thursdays, but my daughter was very starstruck meeting Kendra Middleton yesterday.
Yeah, it was kind of sweet.
She's flicking me off. It's so sweet. But yes, Kendra Middleton was here, and you guys had done something. You had you Hardy don't totally appreciate the social media aspect of her existence. She's 28 years old. She's very much a millennial. I guess not very much a millennial. She's very much on the cusp of even being a millennial. Or is she millennial or Gen Z? I don't know what the hell she is.
I think we've asked her before and she told us, but I don't know.
Who remembers? But anyway, she does these. She's got this Instagram account. She's always going around town with the Instagram, getting half off at 99 and stuff. And what did you guys do yesterday? You had lost a bet, so what did you do?
There was a bet, and we both had to pick a couple of bets, and she totally
outsmarted you.
Not in the spirit of the bet. Bet like three sure things on like very crappy odds, whatever. And I did actual bets and won 2 out of 3, but she won 3 out of 3. So had she lost, she was going to have to, I don't know, whatever cockamamie thing you would come up with, she was going to have to go with me to a hardware store, but she didn't lose. She won.
Yeah, and you legitimately did not want to do this. It's no game. Like Ryan did not want to do this. This was, he protested off the air about doing this. It was a whole thing to get him to finally do it, but you did yesterday, and you agreed. She does something. Is there an intro, or should I say what it is, as you look at trail bikes?
Well, I was trying to find the one, the Smokey and the Bandit trail bike. So there's no intro for it. What we did after the meeting yesterday, we sat down, and the deal was I had to sit with her while she did what is supposed to be a weekly recap of things that she gets in her DMs as a woman on the internet. And I say, look, you act all offended and you say you're going to rat these people out, but it's obviously you want it. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep putting it out there. I've said that many, many times before. I didn't want to get into like a whole back and forth with her. So instead, I said, fine, what do you want me to do? And this is the first thing that we'll hear is her explaining to me what this is going to be.
All right, so you can see the story posted at Toucher and Hardy and at Fred Toucher in our stories, and I think Kendra Middleton's at Kendra Middleton. All right, Here we go.
Yeah.
You'll have 6 or 7 seconds for each DM to say.
What am I doing?
So I'm going to show you.
Each BM?
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how we're doing it. Instagram, yeah. I'll show you.
You just don't like a young lady telling you what to do.
That's it. That's it.
Someone's not submissive.
You'll have 6 or 7 seconds for each DM to say.
What am I doing?
So I'm going to show you. So I have a green screen on. Oops.
Ooh, farted.
That was me. It was a big one.
That was very bold of you.
Well, I left it in, everything as it happened.
How dare you break wind before me?
But I was so upset about being there, I didn't even say excuse me.
So I have a green screen on. Oops.
You have a green shirt on. How's the green screen going to work with your green shirt?
Because I think technology's already figured it out. Okay, so I'm going to pull up like this message, right? And I'm going to hit record in between them, and you'll have this little mini microphone, and you'll have 6 or 7 seconds to say something about it, and then I'll stop it, and we'll go to the next one. I think there's 6 of them.
And what are these messages?
You're going to find out.
No, these are DMs that you've received?
Yeah.
Because your DMs are open?
Yeah.
So you want to receive these messages?
I mean, no. Some of them are from my requests. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
God. And then I ripped another one just to assert my dominance in the situation. Here's what I think of your stupid mini microphone, which, by the way, didn't even work. Her mini mics.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
She had equipment that didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
The Bluetooth mini mics that she got for $13 on Amazon didn't work.
I mean, you can't just use your phone like we do.
Yeah.
Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Pick that one up. Why don't you put that in your blog?
That'd be so funny if you really did that. If you just sat there protest farting. Even Zoe thought that was funny. I got a laugh out of the girl.
Okay.
That's what I think of that, James. Eat it, sister.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read the DM and then I comment on what the DM says.
Yep. As soon as I hit record, you're going to be going, okay?
Okay.
All right. So so the segment is these guys have sent her these direct messages on Instagram. So what she brings up the actual Instagram, she wants you to react to it.
Yeah, and it's like it's on the phone, which I can barely see because she, uses the 28-year-old font, and I need the 53-year-old font. So I'm squinting at the screen. I'm looking at it, and all the pictures and all the messages, they're all horrific. But you got 6-7 seconds, so that. This is actual time. What you're going to hear is the video that she posted. This wasn't like 10 minutes worth of, hold on, let me retake. These are all one takes, all real time. She showed me a picture, and I had to make a comment. So here it is.
Okay, so here are Hardy, who did really not want to do this. He doesn't agree with the whole premise, and Kendra Middleton doing the DMs.
Welcome to I got in my DM as a woman on the internet in under 90 seconds, but my 53-year-old coworker is going to be reading my DMs.
Do you think that was a purposeful editorial decision on her part to mention my age?
Yeah, she asked me how old you were, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, I need to know for the video. And then so she asked you.
Did she need to know?
Well, she can't just assume that everybody in her, who's watching her Instagram knows who you are. Like,
I guess it's nicer than saying middle-aged or post-middle-aged coworker.
There is something depressing, though, about hearing someone who's 28, which is no spring chicken, refer to you as 53, like 53, like this guy's so old.
Yeah, let's record this before he dies.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, you're not 18, 28 years old. You've been an adult for a very long time, a decade. You're getting laughed by. There's kids younger than you, like running corporations. Let's not go crazy with the youngness. I always warned Pete Davidson. I said, don't lean too much into the young thing. Because his whole comedy was about him being young. I'm like, you're not going to be young forever.
Yeah.
Pete. I said that to him. I said, you go out and find yourself a Kardashian. That'll put you in a good mental place.
That was it. That was good advice.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Would love to break my nose off. You see, I'm not even going to read that word. And no, he didn't even want to do that, or she.
This one
All right, so I'm glad you didn't put a gender on it. You didn't assume pronouns. But it was they wanted to break their nose off in a place of hers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the best part about that comment is I didn't read it below that, but before that, guys, I would love to break my nose off in your And then right underneath it, he said LMK with 2 finger crossed emojis. Let me know.
Still waiting to hear back, is he?
Now, did she ever illuminate you on what she thinks, why she's the person that's getting these? Does every woman on Instagram get these kind of messages? I was talking about this with a guy I don't know yesterday. He came up to me. He's a fan of the show. And he brought her up because she was on the show yesterday. And he's like, do you think that everyone gets these? Like, if you're just a female on Instagram and not guys hitting on you, but weird fetishy requests.
I would imagine that if you have your DMs open and you are a female of any reputation, or any level of celebrity, then yes, you are dealing with this on a constant basis.
Because it's not so much even the sexual request, because everyone wants to have sex. It's or you as a human being. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the person, just everyone in the world generally wants to have sex. I'm talking about the depravity of it. If you asked me, Fred, you put a gun to my head and you said, do you have any friends that are into what these dudes are into? I would honestly be able to tell you no. To my knowledge.
Would you? But that's to your knowledge.
But that's the thing, Ryan. And I swear to God, believe me, you would have known by now that I am pretty bland with all this stuff. None of this stuff is of any interest to me. It's fascinating that there are this many dudes that are this into very fetishized stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, wait till you hear the next one.
Well, I saw one of these before you saw it. I saw it uncensored. Yeah, I saw that uncensored.
Okay, all right.
Did you see it uncensored?
No.
I can describe it to you then. Oh yeah, I can. I can do it on the air too.
Okay.
This one I blurred out for you, but it was in a cage.
You want $200 now? $200 for what? I want $200 to never see that again.
This one was...
Okay.
All right, so what it is...
Is it a cage? Is it a
Yeah,
bird?
Yeah. No. Okay,
Was it a cage?
No. I can describe it very well because I saw it uncensored. She asked for my consent, and I agreed. It's a guy who's in tremendous shape, and he is hairless. I mean, this guy is a real water bug. He's ripped. He's got abs on him, everything else. I don't even know if it's the guy. He's standing with his hands behind him. I'm actually looking at the photo now, but I saw it uncensored. In this cage he is around his genitalia is very spiky. It's a metal cage. It seems to have been created solely for the purpose of what it's doing. And it's almost daring. It's like a bear trap. That's the best way to describe it, like a futuristic bear trap.
Okay, so this is like a spiky cod piece of some sort?
More like you would have to. It's like not so much a cod. It doesn't fashion to you. It's like you have to put it on, I don't know how to phrase it the correct way. It's a cage, not something to be worn.
But it had the caption "locked up for you, sexy," and his face and the genitalia are blurred out. It's got a real Abu Ghraib feel about it.
Yeah,
I thought this ended after the last 2 administrations, but apparently it's still going on.
It almost like he made it. Like they don't sell them, right? Like he got into...
I guarantee they sell them.
Like he learned to work with steel. Like he bought a blowtorch and was like...
He might have made his own, but I guarantee you can find them.
No, I don't doubt it. But it seems very specialized. Because
you make a cage, you put it in a cage, you take a picture, you put it on the internet.
This is the first cage I've ever seen. And I am no wilting lily. I have seen my fair share of things, but I've never seen a cage before. I've seen octopi porn. I've seen everything else under the sun. I've never seen a cage. But did she ever tell you what the guy wanted her to do with the cage?
No.
Or he was going to give her the key she could wear around her neck?
I don't know.
That would have been kind of
I was trying to finish this. It went very quickly.
Maybe he give her a key, put it in a bottle, and put it out to sea.
Yeah.
With a note, I've caged myself. Here is the key. This means we are true love.
Locked up for you, sexy. Good grief.
I mean, the guy's
what's
in
the
tremendous
$200
shape.
for?
And ladies, if you want to know, this is a guy, if you saw him on the beach, you'd be attracted to. Like, you would be like, wow, this is a really handsome fella.
And you can see the timestamp from her DM. He sent it at 10:24 a.m.
Yeah, I'm not positive that's the guy, because that's a very, very in-shape person.
But still, you sent that whether it's you or not, and you're like, I'm feeling a certain way. What time of day? Like midnight? 2 o'clock in the morning? No, 10:30. While The Price is Right is on. This is what I'm sending out to people on the internet.
Google sea cages and see if this is the standard Getty image.
This one was made for Hardy because it's about Felger.
Felger is what you get when you breed a croissant and an HOA president. I think that's kind of a compliment.
I do.
That's exactly how you talk in real life, too.
That's how I talk in real life. It's how I talk on the radio. It's how I talk to Kendra.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You sound very comfortable.
Pee in a straw while you shove it down my throat.
All right. I don't know. I don't think that you can play that on the air. Yeah, that's the terminology. I don't think that we can play that.
Just don't go back to it.
No, I'm not going to go back to it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying don't rewind it.
No, I'm not. I'm not rewinding it.
Okay.
No. I know what it is. I watched the video.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very specific request.
I don't even know if it's possible.
No, it just seems like throwing a lot against the wall and seeing what sticks. Like they're again.
I'm gonna find out what you're into.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get so weird and specific. Again, if you told me, you could put me on a lie detector and go, "Do you know of anyone in your life that likes any of this stuff?"
Yeah.
I would be able to pass a lie detector test.
Yeah.
I swear to God. And if I had any interest in it or knew of it, in 20 years on the radio, you would have found out. At least hints about it.
Yeah.
I've never heard any of this stuff. And again, I'm no like conservative Christian, but I've never heard any of this stuff. It's weird. Real weird. I blame the internet. I blame AI. Well, there you go. There's more. But we won't do it next. We'll take Andrew Callahan.
Take a breather and get back to it?
Yeah, let's not go crazy with this all in a row. Andrew Callahan will join us. He was, of course, at Patriots practice. Drake May, I guess, showed out. And we can talk about what's going on with Matthew Judon and Brandon Aiyuk. We'll have all that for you coming up.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, this summer's hottest lineup isn't at a...
Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, everybody. We are Toucher and Hardy, and the Patriots take the preseason field on Thursday, and it should be exciting because we found Drake May will be playing, and we get to see what's doing with Drake May finally. Andrew Callahan has seen what's doing with Drake May a lot, as he's been at every camp practice. He's the Patriots reporter, columnist, among other things. Let's not pigeonhole the man. He does Celtic stuff as well. Sports of all kinds. He works for the Boston Herald. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hello, Andrew Callahan.
Good morning, fellas. Are we still saying Happy Hump Day?
Why not, man?
All right.
not?
Happy Hump Day.
Well, I don't think we were ever saying it, Andrew. If you want to say it, that's fine.
Thank you for being so specific, as always, Hardy.
Well, us men of letters, Hardy, like Andrew and I, get together and we decide what terms we'll be using.
And what will be accepted in the lexicon. I understand.
Yeah, we have a daily calendar. We rip it off and see the different words.
The great philosopher Bobby Brown once said, ain't nobody humping around.
Oh.
Ooh, that is true. Popcorn Love. New edition. All right, Andrew Callahan. Let's start with Brandon Aiyuk. Give us the situation and your thoughts on it.
So this broke while I was doing TV last night, so I haven't had a ton of time to dig, but the information I had up until about 10:15 or whatever this broke last night was the Patriots. I could confirm Matt Maioka's report. Mark Daniels confirmed this as well from Mass Live yesterday. The Patriots had an agreed trade with the 49ers. I included that it did have Kendrick Bourne in there and a lot of draft capital for many months of pursuing Brandon Aiyuk. They were also, scuttlebutt around the league, prepared to make an offer that Mike Reese later hard reported would make him a top 5 receiver, meaning on an average annual basis, north of $30 million per year. But the issue with this trade is not that they didn't make a fair offer to the Niners or to Brandon Aiyuk. It's that Brandon Aiyuk right now is like an NBA star who gets to pick where he wants to go because he has 1 year left, and he's put a lot of stress on the team that has him right now. And he didn't pick the Patriots, so the trade was dead on the table.
Okay, so does that reflect poorly on the franchise? Because people are going to say that all day.
Look, I think fans have a right to be disappointed, maybe even angry, right? Like you feel like you got to the goal line. This is a touchdown that is going to push you closer towards maybe the playoffs next year, perhaps even this year. Like you would be your best player in offense, the number 1 receiver. You haven't seen Julian Edelman, maybe better than Edelman, and perhaps going back to Randy Moss. But to me, they did everything right here. I don't know what more you can do than offer a guy more than $30 million per year. Guarantees, we don't know yet. We may never know. And then offer the team that has him enough draft capital plus a veteran at the same position to appease them. So the Patriots swung, they missed because they're no longer a destination in the NFL. And that's a big problem that we've not only just seen with Aiyuk, but with players like Calvin Ridley back in free agency.
Okay, go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to ask, so I made the point earlier this morning that this, to me, if I'm the Patriots, it probably in my mind accelerates the need for Drake May to play some this year, because if you're going to go into free agency at all next offseason to try to attract a top guy to come here, you're going to have to be able to show what he's going to be dealing with.
So I get the point that you're making, but if in the process, then Drake May falters, or let's say worse, gets broken physically or has a real issue mentally, and you rush just because you might sign someone, maybe, could be, in free agency while throwing it a bag at them when you just did that and whiffed, that's a worst case scenario. I think, Ryan, I take the opposite feeling about this. Had Aiyuk been here, that's some sort of insulation for Drake May, right? He's got 2 receivers now with Pop Douglas who can open immediately, quickness and long speed, beat man coverage as they both do. Now he still has the one. He's 5'8". He's had a couple of concussions last year. I love Pop Douglas, but you need to fix the offensive line too. So nothing about Aiyuk saying no has changed those elements. And to me, you just have to wait until he's ready, which is going to be a difficult thing to assess as they go deeper into the regular season. And his snaps, unlike training camp, go down with the 1s and 2s in practice.
And I get what you're saying. It just is, to me, if guys are turning down $30 million to come here and because They don't think that the team is ready. They don't think the team's going to compete. I don't know what we're going to see out of Jacoby Brissett this year that's going to change their minds on that. If all they know is that they're going to be starting from scratch with Drake May.
It's a totally fair question. I would say this too. The supposed rumors about Brandon Aiyuk, he wants to go to Pittsburgh, right? And who do they have at quarterback? Russell Wilson, who stinks. Justin Fields, who statistically has been one of the bottom 10, 12 passers in the league, and that's just what it is. And yet, for some reason, not only does Brandon Aiyuk want to leave San Francisco, the best offensive coach in the league, the best set of weapons in the league, went to the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years, he wants to go to that place. And I would argue quarterback is the biggest part of the destination and really important. The head coach is the other piece. Yeah. And so I don't know how much, let's say, social equity Gerard Mayo can build up in league circles over the next 12 months. But Mike Tomlin versus Gerard Mayo is a no contest right now. So they need to get the word out that the Patriots are back up in a sense, at least for people want to play here. It might not be to win, a la Brady and Belichick, but guys got better. They had fun. And the league is going to learn about Gerard because he's only, as we know, ever been in one place. Guys talk when they leave or they have buddies around the NFL who play for other teams. It's just going to take time, whether it's Mayo, or whoever the team looks this year.
Yeah, they're going to need to hopefully have the word get out that it's a good place to play, and it'll be a while before it's any kind of a destination. But we saw it with Rex Ryan and the Jets, how guys saw what was going on in Hard Knocks, and word got out. It's like, I want to play for that guy, and that's probably going to be the best chance that they have, at least in the short term. Andrew, I think for the Patriots and the way they're building this team moving forward, I want to give them credit for, not going all in to try and get Brandon Aiyuk, but it sounds like A, that they did, and B, I would be going back to what you said earlier. I'd feel better if they were shoring up the offensive line and trying to take the route that like the Eagles did a few years ago, build from the lines out first. Then you get your quarterback, and then you worry about the receivers. But I don't know what template they're following here.
So we do know, though, Hardy, and it's the Packer way, right? Like, I got a book over here on my shelf. It's called The Packer Way. It's by Elliot Wolf's dad, Ron Wolf. You look at all the team building they've done. Patient with the quarterbacks. Jordan Love sat. Aaron Rodgers sat. Of course, they did have the benefit of Rodgers had Favre, and then Love had Rodgers to sit and wait, be that attraction, have someone take care of the offense. They do like to build from the outside line, the offensive line outward, I would say. The issue is, to understand where you are, you need to know where you've been. And with the Patriots, what that means is 2 of the last 3 summers, they have been fishing for offensive tackle depth like most of the rest of the league. In 2021, Mac Jones' rookie year, they're signing and trading for a guy named Yasir Durant, 7th-round pick that they give to the Chiefs in exchange for him. He barely plays. 2 years ago, we know the panic trades of Vidarian Lowe and Tyron Wheatley Jr. So you could absolutely argue, and I would, that the Patriots should have been more aggressive with players like Jonah Williams in free agency or Tyron Smith to fix this tackle issue. They didn't. What they do is sign a bunch of guys to fill the foundation, extend from within, another pillar of the Packer way, and the offensive line is still a problem. And that's on them. But as far as what they're doing, it's going to be more of a patient rebuild than I think this whole Aiyuk business would have suggested.
So they do have a template. It is that building from the lines out. They just have kind of stumbled when starting with the offensive line.
Yes, and look, this is not passing the buck and looking back and pointing a finger at Bill Belichick, because again, I think they could have and should have signed someone like Jonah Williams, starting caliber tackle from the Bengals, who instead went to Arizona for reasonable money, and the Patriots said, no. And that's someone I checked in on at the time. But Belichick, again, a year ago, took a bunch of Riley Reifs and Calvin Andersons and threw them at the wall and will say, we'll see who sticks. And didn't want to play Mike Onwenu at tackle. And he's back at guard now. I think they should move him to tackle, which would help settle some of this. And the year before, we know the solution was move Isaiah Wynn after 4 years to right tackle. And he was miserable, and he was bad, and he was pissed off. And the year before was Durant. So it's not like they've had a lot to work with here and are just screwing it up. They just haven't added in a way that I think has been meaningful to the offensive line.
All right, Andrew Callahan. It's very exciting times around the Patriots as Drake May takes the field coming up on Thursday. We appreciate the time, sir.
I do have one more question for Andrew, because there's been some dissent in terms of how Drake May was looking yesterday. Zoe Beetle got very excited. I heard that about a couple of completions, I think, to Kayshon Boutte. And then I'm hearing some pushback. It's like, it wasn't all that impressive.
Yeah, so I said this last night, and I'll tell you guys the same thing. I think we went from the start of camp collectively as a media. I don't care if you got a microphone, you got a pencil, you got whatever's going on in the hill over there. The bar was too high for Drake May as a 21-year-old relative raw prospect, which we were all saying at the time. Some people have forgotten. To now, we are celebrating openly 10-yard fade routes into the back right corner of the end zone. He had back-to-back pinpoint throws. The second one was incomplete because Shaheem Bell had 1 foot out of bounds. But those were the 2 best throws yesterday, guys. And I don't know about you. If I want a quarterback to start week 1, and that's the peak, that's the pinnacle of what he's doing as a passer, I need a little bit more. So overall for May, I think he's really only had 1 terrible day. You could argue for 2, but he's also never had a great day. Yesterday wasn't one, 7 of 14, interception. It was solid, and it got spoiled late. It's been like a C, maybe C+ for him for me this summer.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say the Zone Beatles, were jumping up and down saying he had a great day and it was awesome, but there was
they were super excited.
There was some excitement there, and
it was on Instagram. I saw it. Now, so since we're talking about it, I don't know if we talked to you about this. Colin Cowherd said that Joe Milton was going to beat out Drake May and Joe Milton was going to be the number one. I know that's not happening. I'm not entertaining that. But does Joe Milton look like unbelievable in practice or something?
No, he does not. A couple of days ago. And look, if you're someone who believes Colin Cowherd believes all the things he's saying, you're his target audience. Like that, it's just part of his shtick. And I don't want to say it was retracted, but I know Ben Vole in the Boston Globe was very high on Joe Milton. I think that caught a lot of attention, and he's since kind of backed off and said, I believe it was a couple of days ago, hey, May has pulled ahead or he's been better. In my opinion, and I say the stats to back this up, in 11 on 11s, where Drake May is facing more difficult defenses, he was better than Milton, even on his 3 worst days, by sacks, by interceptions, by balls he's completing down the field. It's just that Joe Milton, and all credit to him, he's a lot of fun to watch, has the best aesthetics as a 6'5", 246-pound dude who can run around and throw the ball wherever you want on planet Earth. So, yeah, he looks really good in 7-on-7s, but beyond that, no, he looks like a 6th-round rookie.
Yeah, it's funny because when we talked about the Cowherd thing, and I think Cowherd's talented, it's just when is the return on the investment not, worth it? Like, because I understand you throw things out and we're talking about it right now and this, that, and the third, but there's some things like Joe Milton's not going to be a quarterback in the NFL. Like, he's not going to be a starting quarterback. So it's like, at what point do you put the governor on the take? You know what I'm saying? Like, when it gets when does it get too ridiculous where the return isn't worth the price is what I was saying. But there you go.
I mean, judging by the fact we're still talking about it, I think we just threw more, wood on the fire, if you will. Colin Cowherd's burning out there in L.A.
Well, listen, God bless him. God bless him. All right, thank you. There you go, Andrew Callahan. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Anytime, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
We will talk to you soon. By the way, working on big things with Chris Forsberg. We got a thing, Hardy and I, from one of the salespeople. He said, do you think Gorman's going to be on once a week next season? And Gorman texted me at 5 a.m. yesterday from some yacht. So I don't think that we can. So I said, let's throw some money at Forsberg. Let's get Forsberg some money. He's been very loyal to the show.
What, Gorman doesn't have a phone on the yacht? He can't call in from there?
He can text.
Yeah.
But I'm Mike Gorman's
Ship to
life
shore is very expensive.
Yeah, Mike Gorman's
Not
life,
for Mike Gorman.
No, everything's free right now for Mike Gorman. He's living the lifestyle of freedom. He's living the Adam 12 lifestyle and to the hilt. I'll tell you this, is that his life right now makes me feel better about the future, because here's a guy who had lived his entire life, gathered all his fame doing a specific job. He retires from that job, and he's really, I think, sincerely enjoying his life more than he ever has. And that is a positive thing for all of us to look at. In all sincerity, I look at that as being like, I get a very selfishly good feeling from Mike Gorman enjoying himself as much as he is right now. Because you always have this impression of the coach that retires and then they're like, oh, my life has no meaning.
What am I supposed to do?
I have nothing to do now.
You find yourself at cheerleading competitions. So I got to do something with my day.
Let's take some selfies on Tucket. Damn these ring cams. All right, so we'll be back. And speaking of internet, and someone much older than Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Kendra Middleton, who's pushing 30. She really is.
Imagine Bill going out with Kendra. That's good.
No.
Now go younger.
Yeah, well, 8th grade when Kendra was a senior. So let's be honest. Like my daughter going into 8th grade, someone who's a senior in high school, there's a lot of difference. I mean, like a full like high school experience away, they would never have matriculated in the same halls. I'm telling you, you got to take the hand off the throttle of age. I think 24 is the you can't lean into being young at 28, I don't think.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that the age thing is probably, I'm going to say 24 is an arbitrary number.
I'm going to start keeping track of like titles of books I think you could write.
Thank you, because I am.
Hands Off the Age Throttle by Fred Toucher.
Yeah, it's a biblical stuff. So finally, someone's writing down my brilliant thoughts. They get wasted into the ether of radio.
You should do a podcast.
Finally, someone could pay attention. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
49ers receiver Brandon Aiyuk was the subject of rumors, could have been coming to the Patriots. Well, now it's being reported the Pats dropped out of trade talks with the Niners. Apparently, Aiyuk was not interested in coming to Foxborough, despite Mike Reese's report that they were ready to make him one of the top paid receivers in the NFL. Also yesterday in Foxborough, linebacker Matthew Judon was on the field, but only long enough for stretching, and then he departed. So it appears the contract drama may be continuing. Patriots will host Carolina for the preseason opener tomorrow night. Everyone's going to play, including Drake May, said Gerard Mayo. Christian McCaffrey, Niners running back, going to skip the entire preseason, dealing with a strained calf. Red Sox back within a half game of the Royals after they won 6-5 last night in Kansas City. As they chase the third wild card spot, they can leapfrog the Royals if they sweep the series tonight. Cutter Crawford will be on the mound. U.S. men's basketball advancing past Brazil in the quarterfinals yesterday. They'll take on Serbia tomorrow in one semifinal, France against Germany in the other. New England Revolution got by Nashville on penalty kicks last night. They advanced to the knockout round of the League's Cup. Friday night, they host New York City FC in the round of 32. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Diabetic Care. Are you using Freestyle or Dexcom Continue?
right. We are Toucher and Hardy. And we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. The bet with Kendra Middleton that Hardy made has been paid off. You can see the video at Kendra Middleton. You can see it on our story at Fred Toucher or at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram, where it's a very exciting thing. And I suppose at Kenny Middleton on Twitter, you could see it too, if you're still on Twitter. But what happened is, Hardy, she showed you're not a big fan of her videos where she goes through the DMs that she gets as a woman, as she says, on the internet. And she made you sit through it and comment on the DMs that she was using.
Yeah, I think it just probably further inspires people to send videos that are like the ones that she's getting and railing against, and I think it's an exercise in futility unless she really wants the videos in the first place. But we covered that, it's not my business to get into the psychology of Kendra Middleton. All I had to do was pay off the bet. So I had to sit through a video shoot and read the DMs and comment on them, and that's what I did.
All right, so here is what Hardy and Kendra did so far. We've seen a man in a cage. We have
part of him was in a cage.
Yeah, we played something that that we had to stop, and so on and so forth. Here is more from Hardy reacting to Kendra Middleton's direct messages.
To stuff I got in my DMs as a man.
That's not it. Let's see. You got to go back to all right.
I can't go back to the one.
Well, there was more to it.
I can't, but I don't know where to go.
Oh.
About 55 seconds in. If it's the entirety of the video.
You're sure?
There's 26 seconds left in this thing. I have to play the...
Yeah, that should be about right.
Okay. All right.
So 55 seconds in?
From 55, if the entirety of the video is a minute 18, 55 seconds in, we're in the clip.
Dan's got his hand on the dump button.
All right, here we go.
Although I've heard you on the radio, seen you on YouTube, I'm not 100% sure you're a real person or an AI that is trying to come up with a female sports radio media personality. AI is much better. They would have come up with something other than Kendra.
All right, very good. Very good job, Ryan. That was excellent timing by you.
We did skip one.
Okay. Whatever. But I can't.
Okay.
It's not worth
the one that
payoff.
we skipped was somebody offering to buy her socks after the gym.
Oh, okay. Very good.
And I allege that was your burner account on Instagram.
Well, exposed it is what you did.
Yeah, I exposed it. Well, we've been looking for your Twitter burner account for years.
It's just the one making fun of lift shots.
Yeah. But this inspired me, Fred, and I have to say that this was, Kendra and I actually had an okay time doing it, and it inspired me to do the same thing. I said, maybe she's onto something, and maybe it's not just Kendra who gets offensive things sent to her in her DMs and her mentions. That maybe we could all use this as a tool to expose people and to kind of like fight back a little bit. So I did my own video.
Okay, here we go.
And now you can play that one.
To stuff I got in my DMs as a man on the internet in less than 90 seconds. Welcome to stuff I got in my DMs as a man on the internet in less than 90 seconds. Hardy, can I have the number of the guy that cleaned your grill, please? Oh, what, so you can bust my balls about having a client come out and clean my grill for me? Not falling for it.
That's Mr. Grill?
That's Mr. Grill.
Yeah. Hardy got very upset very early in the show with the Mr. Grill backlash.
It wasn't that early. It was a few months in. You'd think I would have been immune to it already.
Yeah. It comes hot and heavy in the mornings. You're going to get, no matter what you do.
You call anytime before 8. Be careful.
Yeah. Hardy's in a foul mood, and the audience is in no mood to be bothered either. You walk into this, RJ, you're very smart not to give out your email address. You're avoiding a lot of collateral damage.
Hardy, how do you feel about a criminal winning a gold medal? It's one thing to attack.
All right, who's the criminal that won the gold medal?
Attack me, but don't attack Scotty Scheffler.
Sorry for interrupting that. Yes, Scotty Scheffler. The man who is
And
too
by the
good
way,
to stop for the police.
Charges were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can't be brought again.
Yeah.
Some criminal behavior going on overnight at the Olympics.
Well,
you could just might as well say it. A guy
The
got
Australian field hockey team, one of the members got busted allegedly for trying to buy cocaine on the streets of Paris.
And I would have guessed it was that guy, the Australian guy in the 200 meter.
Yeah,
with the mustache.
I don't know. If you're going to do a lot of coke, you can't have a mustache because it gets caught there in the bristles and the whiskers.
It might be more of a meth thing.
Yeah.
Hardy, are you at Metallica? My friend's bailed and I'm drunk. Let's hang out. Hardy, as a millionaire living my best life, I'm giving $5,000 each to the first 20 people who message me grace. It's all about sharing the blessings? Oh, that's a nice one.
So yeah, that's my attempt to fight back at the stuff that I get online. Every bit as offensive as the things that Kendra gets, and I think this is a tool we can all use.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous that she gets so much attention from the opposite sex because I get no DMs at all from females. None.
Nothing?
Very few.
Hmm.
I'd say it's literally 1 out of 100.
Maybe there's something going on your Instagram profile that isn't alluring enough. You need to polish that thing up.
Yeah, what have we gone out on a date? Sounds very similar to some people that I've gone out with.
Let me coach you.
Please. No, I get paid to be on the radio. It's a tool to be on the radio. No, you should improve your image. You're a good father. You should say all these things on the internet. These are arguments I've gotten in with women. And I say, but I get paid to be on the radio. They go, well, you got to do it online. I go, then what do I get for doing it online? Half off? A dinner? If I edit the video together?
You might get free putt-putt. Ask Nick
Nicholas
Gemelli.
really abused his privileges with that. He heard it from all the way upstairs.
Ryan, are the Australian hockey guys, are they done in these Olympics?
I do not believe so.
Oh, I was hoping we could use this finally and push back against the idea that cocaine is some kind of a performance enhancer.
You got to keister that stuff. You got to bring it yourself. You can't be doing that. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Nice roof.
Dodger and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Dodger and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can find us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. And Hardy, you've been speaking very highly. 617-779-0985. Hardy, you've been speaking very highly of something Ryan Johnston has been sent.
I can't wait for Ryan to tell you about this. This was a big topic during COVID when we were talking about anything that was
when there was no sports happening,
like sports adjacent. But this was kind of something sporting, and I love the fact that it's come up again this time with scientific backing.
Yeah. So I got we all get these emails from PR people pitching story ideas, interviews, things like that. I just happened across one this morning. It's about a survey that was done. They surveyed thousands of ordinary Americans, Fred, to determine what do you think you could accomplish in professional sports right now. And what they found is that of all the cities in America, the residents of Boston, Massachusetts are most confident with 96.6% of people believing that there is something in professional sports that they could successfully do right now.
I could do it.
Now, we had this conversation on the air during COVID, and the answers from the people that were here on the show, I believe Billy Lanny was one of the people here on the show who said, without hesitation, and without any sarcasm or satire or anything, said, you got to go do one thing tonight. What can you go do? And he said, play first base for the Red Sox. And I said, you're going to have to take at bats. He said, yeah, I know. I said, so you're just going to watch the pitches go by? He goes, no, I'll put it in play. And he was absolutely convinced he could play first base defensively for 9 innings.
Well,
and also
guess what?
Take legitimate at bats.
Guess what? Almost 10% of the people surveyed believe that they could not only put an at bat in the major leagues, could get a hit in the major leagues. Almost 10% of people believe that they can get a hit in Major League Baseball. And that, by the way, is barely into the top 10 of things that people think they can do.
By the way, if you've been to Fenway Park when they let the season ticket holders go on the field, they have a pitching machine pitching about 45 miles an hour, which is like almost too slow. And I've never done it, but my son hasn't, and they let people get up and take at-bats.
Yeah.
Against 45 miles an hour going down the middle. Not well. Not well. And there's like big hard-on guys that like go on there with like their own bats.
Hardo.
Well, same deal. Hardo guys that go in with their own bats and they don't do well.
So when I was doing minor league baseball for a few summers, I used to like once a year would hop in the batting cage during BP and take a few cuts and just hitting batting practice fastballs when you haven't swung. Like I haven't played baseball since I was like 15. But you get in there, and it's like, oh, I can do this.
There's no way.
No.
Oh, no. You could make contact against something you knew was going to be 85 miles an hour down the plate. If you had like 30 opportunities, you could make contact. Unfortunately, in Major League Baseball, there's literally not a pitch that will come directly at you.
Right.
Every pitch that's above 85 is going to have movement on it. And then if they want to screw you up, they can throw you something that moves. Now, that's impossible. Now, I have taken at-bats quite often recently. And breaking stuff, you're not hitting it.
No.
There's no way. Even if you guess, even if you sit straight curve, you're not hitting a major league curveball or a slider. And even worse, a slider. You can't dictate, like you can't predict where it's going to go. It's too fast. It breaking away from you generally. There's no way. You're going to wave at it. Not only would you not be able to make contact, you wouldn't get a full swing on it. It would be one of those waves. And it's scary as hell. Like if you don't, the pitching machine's not scary at all. Go up there with no helmet on. But a guy live pitching when it's that fast is super scary when you're not used to it. Believe me, no fun.
Okay, so what else do people think they could do, Ryan, according to this survey?
Okay, so, well, the most common answer is to drive a racing lap without crashing.
Hell yeah.
So let's say we put you on the track at Daytona, surrounded by 40 other cars, inches apart from each other. Could you do a 200-mile-an-hour lap without crashing?
No,
I could, man. If that fruit, what was the guy that won all the none of the NASCAR guys liked? The famous
Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon. If my dad gave me a funny car when I was 10 like that silver spoon bastard, I could do it.
So that is about a third of the population believes that they can successfully navigate a track once.
I mean, you wouldn't even be able to, I understand what some people are thinking. I'll just drive slow. I'll go to the back of the pack. Well, you're going to get lapped. And once cars start going by you 100 miles an hour faster than what you're driving, you're going to freak out and you're going to hit something.
Well, somebody's going to turn your ass into the wall is what's going to happen.
Did you ever see the South Park where Cartman goes, well, I'm dumber than any of you. I can do it. It's one of the great South Parks. It's the NASCAR South Park. He starts eating Vagisil to make himself dumber. And then he goes like, I'm dumber than you. I can go left. I can make it go forward and make it turn left. And he just grinds those gears. I can safely say I wouldn't be able to shift. That's a double shift situation, isn't it? Like, there's a whole bunch of clutching and everything. I couldn't do any of that.
All right, so the next
But that's more
on the
likely
list,
than hitting a baseball.
The next highest on the list, Fred, if I put you in a professional boxing ring with a pro boxer, could you land a punch?
No. I know for a fact I
Again,
couldn't land
24% of the population believes that they could absolutely land a punch on a pro boxer.
Do they know what it means to land a punch? That doesn't mean hitting a guy's arm.
Okay,
Right.
I could tell you this. That 99% of the people that have responded to this, including myself, could not spar around with an amateur.
I would guess most people, if you got into the ring with a boxer whose hands were tied behind their back, would not be able to land a punch.
But beyond that, like, if you, like, say you're sparring against an amateur who's throwing punches, keeping your arms up for like three minutes is almost
It's
impossible
tiring, yeah.
while they're getting hit. Oh yeah, that's no fun. Like with the weight of the gloves and everything, like, there's no way.
I think you could go. And first of all, you're not going to be able to go 12 rounds with Mayweather. Like you said, Fred, you're not going to be able to keep your arms up and keep your legs underneath you for 12 rounds. But if he never raised his hands, you wouldn't be able to land a punch on him.
So here are some other fight
or if
related.
they hit if you protected your head and they hit your hands, they hit your arms, break your arm, like, or any body shot.
Well,
they would knock the wind out of you. You'd
To
be
that
down.
end, here are some of the other fight related ones. So you got 24% believe they could land a punch. Almost 6% believe they could last a full round with a professional fighter.
Most people couldn't last a full pro length round against an amateur. Again,
No.
it's in the amount of stamina it's really hard.
More than 4% believe they could win an MMA match.
Well, that's their audience.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the people you see at the Garden when there's an MMA
Look
fight.
at Royce Gracie. He a little guy. He took on that big guy with that leg lock. Hell yeah.
How could it be Tito Ortiz?
But perhaps,
these guys ain't
to
even
me,
big.
perhaps even more far-fetched than that, 3% believe they could win a fight in the National Hockey League.
Oh, come on. This is stupid. This is ridiculous.
All right, away from the fights.
Okay.
I fought Cooter after someone dropped a rum and coke.
17% believe they could score a basket in the NBA.
That's more likely.
Is it?
Yes, because I'll tell you why. When my team, AAU team, played Super Friends, which featured Jalen Rose and Chris Webber.
Oh, I thought you meant Zan and Jaina.
We couldn't get over the half court line. Like it was. I mean, an NBA Hall of Famer
Right.
and like a over 10-year career NBA point guard. I mean, it was. We couldn't get the ball over half court. Seth Hoffman, at the end of we lost our first two games in a round robin, so we were gone. Seth Hoffman was one of the leading 3-point shooters in the whole affair because he just started chucking up the ball every time he got it.
Yeah.
And like 1 out of every 20 went in. So he hit say he hit 5 threes in the game or 4 threes in the game. We might have literally only had 12 points. but he was still like, that was at that time like the most amount of threes.
I feel
so
like
you can chuck one up.
I get it, but like I feel like if you were playing, you're the only amateur on a court with 9 other NBA players and they're D'ing up on you, you're never getting that shot up.
And we also played against Scalabrini to show that you can't do it. But there is the hero aspect. You could pump fake and chuck a ball. You and I could go out and make a basket, like just throw a ball in, and there's a chance it could go into the basket. This is far more likely a scenario
than any of the fight
anything
ones.
that fight or hitting.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can't close your eyes and just swing and hit the ball.
Right.
There's too many variables. A basketball, like, it happens. People hit half-court shots, like loser, like kids, like hit half-court shots that have no business doing.
I would actually argue that one a little further down on the list, get a rebound in the NBA, might actually be easier to do because that could just be luck. Like, you could literally be standing near the lane and the ball could bounce right to you.
Yeah, but then there's the hustle aspect because, so this is how you would have to put it. Could you get a rebound in the NBA if everyone was trying to get the rebound?
No.
If the job was to get the rebound?
No.
And that I would say no, and that would be harder than scoring because, again, you can throw a ball in the air without it getting blocked in some scenario. If you took 60 shots in a game and somehow it banks in or falls in, but if someone wants to muscle you and out-hustle you, there's no way you're getting a rebound.
3% of people believe they could dunk in the NBA. I'm not sure 3% of people can dunk.
No, 3% of people can't dunk.
All right. NFL, 10%, or no, I'm sorry, 16% of people believe they could catch a pass in the NFL.
No.
No, obviously it's not.
How are you you're not getting open.
No.
All right, here,
No.
we have a call, a scenario. Pete, go ahead.
Hey, sorry, Hardy, I got to call you out because before you joined the show, I heard you on the radio saying that you could beat Tiger Woods in a 3-par golf situation.
Yeah, I obviously never said that.
You think you're better than Tiger Woods, huh?
I never said that.
You might be now.
Here's
Tiger Woods.
When did he say that, Pete?
Did Tiger Woods win his net club championship this year?
It was like a this or that thing when he was on the other show.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, don't name it, please.
No,
Save us all the hassle.
When we did this exercise, and I remember it was Lanny who got very upset with me because he thought I was selling myself short. It was like my question was, you get called into service today to go do something. What could you do? I said the only thing I could conceivably think of in professional sports I could go do is I could go caddy for somebody today and do that job. I can't be on a NASCAR pit crew. I would probably screw something up even as like a third base coach. I can't do that. I could go caddy, and I'm going to make some mistakes, but I could go loop for somebody today and accomplish that. That's as far as I let myself dream.
Billy Madison let a bum do it. I'll tell you this: you could be out of all this stuff.
Happy Gilmore.
Out of all this stuff, golf is the only one that makes any sense because you're not facing anyone. It's an individual sport.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna go like hyper focused, like the rebounding or land a punch, yes. Could you sink a putt on one green at Augusta? Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
Everybody has the physical ability to do that,
right?
But that wasn't the real spirit of the exercise.
But a par 3, like, let's put it this way: out of all these things, the one I'd want to do, every one would be golf. Yeah, I'll just go out there, and if I screw up, I screw up.
Yeah, can you beat Tiger Woods on one hole? It's a 140-yard par 3.
Could you get lucky and just
and knock one and stick one close and make the putt? And for some reason, he doesn't make birdie.
Right?
Yeah, maybe
there's a chance, like the wind blows. There's some chance. By the way, again, just having experienced this, I've told the story when I was playing Pop Warner. They had this kid from Eastern Michigan, the starting quarterback of Eastern, or a quarterback. I don't even know, starting quarterback at Eastern Michigan, come to one of our practices, and he was throwing passes, and it's unpleasant from Eastern Michigan. It felt like your ribs broke when he threw it. Those balls are hard. You get Zolak chucking a full
the Duke
NFL
throwing you the Duke.
I mean, that'd break a finger. I mean, so just the exercise. Forget getting open or taking a hit or any of those factors. The physical act of catching that big ass hard ball from an NFL quarterback is not something I would want to do. No.
I do love the fact, though, that Bostonians are the most confident people in the country.
Do it.
96%?
I've seen enough. 96.6%. The next highest was Baltimore at 91%.
And there's only 3 people there anymore because of the wire. All right. What was give me just quickly a couple more. You got any more?
Well, the one that I skipped over, almost 12% of people believe that they could climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
But that's not
now you could. They carry you up there.
Yeah, that's not a professional sporting endeavor. That's hiring a guide for $60,000 to, acclimate you and then, like you said, like short rope you up to the top of the mountain. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I applaud all you Bostonians for thinking that you are such great athletes.
3.5% believe they could hit a home run in Major League Baseball.
Well, that I assure you could not do. Even though I played in a charity softball game, this is just a way
which
to
is
make
higher,
this
by
all
the
about
way, than
myself.
2.5% who believe they could strike out a Major League hitter.
So we played softball at Turner Field when the Braves played there, and Goldberg, who's the largest, still to this day, the most muscular, largest human being I've ever seen in my entire life, got up. He played at Georgia. He was a defensive tackle. This guy's a phenomenal athlete. He was taking pills the size they were like cartoon pills. They're so big. I'm like, how they manufacture pills this big? He's like, you can have one of those beers, and we're like, yeah. And we handed him, and he just had these horse pills, and he just took them. By the way, my ex-wife went on a date with Goldberg before we met.
Oh.
Turned him down. He sent her flowers.
Oh.
She said no. Didn't like that he drove a pickup, she said.
Poor Goldberg.
Yeah. And anyway, he was jacking him out of Turner Field, so maybe. I mean, that guy, a softball, too.
Well, did they survey Goldberg in this thing?
It could be. I don't know.
So
it's an anonymous survey.
If you played SEC football, I believe you could. All right, very good. I'm very glad of all the people's confidence. It's very exciting. We will have our award-winning email segment for you in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on. on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, everybody. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can reach us at Hardy at 985thesportshub.com, Toucher at 985thesportshub.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Toucher and Hardy. You can follow me on Instagram at Fred Toucher. Hardy, what's your Instagram again?
At Hardy985.
All right. We got this email. This is interesting from a guy named Georgie, or Georgie. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. You think it says Matthew Judon quote tweeted me on Twitter this morning. Now, are you on
Yes.
Matthew Judon's Twitter? Do you see what he's referring to?
Yes. Georgie tweeted, good morning to everyone except Matthew Judon's tag, counting down the hours till your overrated diva ass is traded.
And what did Matthew
and
Judon
Matthew
say?
Judon retweeted that and said, what I do at 6 a.m. this morning with a emoji like, what's going on kind of thing.
Now, do you understand what that means?
I think he's basically saying, like, why are you thinking about me?
Yeah,
what did I do this morning? I didn't do anything.
Okay.
This is what I do first thing when I wake up in the morning.
That
and start talking crap on the internet.
That was well over my head. And it says, the guy, Georgie says, you think Judon would be tweeting podcasts and on the field blowups if Bill were still here? The new regime literally cannot bring this guy back. He responded to me a nobody, which shows just how unhinged he is, paying a 32-year-old coming off an injury who is a malcontent is not the standard that should be set. Get ready to be a Carolina Panther, buddy. You can line up with them tomorrow night. Is from Georgie. So he has raised the ire of Matthew Judon.
Could be somebody. It could be one of Judon's people, though, because we know he doesn't always control his own Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, he does quote. He's got some interesting quote tweets in his timeline. RJ
He took some shots at some people in the local broadcasting industry.
Yes,
Did you see
he
that
did.
one?
He called them Fs.
Yeah, he not a big fan of one of our competitors' shows yesterday. Apparently.
Well, just go ahead, read it. What did he say? I'm interested.
He quote tweeted a clip of the midday show across the street and said, I said when we aren't in pads, but beside me staying hours on hours to sign and throw the ball around with a fan, how about y'all come talk to me? And this me tweeting, you Fs just sit down and talk.
Now, this is going to sound like a backhanded thing, but I don't mean it that way. How did he find the audio of the midday or the video of the midday show?
I assume people probably have tagged him in the responses to.
That's a highly unlikely scenario, but fair enough. Listen, if I'm Matthew Judon, I'm pissed and I want to get moved. I want to get traded too. This is a situation I think the Patriots should trade him, and I think Matthew Judon has every right to want to get traded. And I would want to get traded too. And I could see this being a sensitive time because he feels that public perception is against him, and he wants this whole thing to be over with. So he's getting very sensitive. But this is why I had to get rid of my Twitter. It's because of the very reason that what Matthew Judon's doing right now is that, someone would be like, I can't believe he responded to me. He doesn't have anything better to do. But the thing is, you antagonized him. So, why is he supposed to be better than you? You're antagonizing him. He's actually responding to what you said about him, which makes him kind of the more sane one in my estimation in that whole encounter. I don't think there's anything wrong with going after a public person. I don't think there's anything wrong with going after me. But you have to understand that's another human being, and you're antagonizing them. So to act like they're unhinged if they respond to you is a little unfair, because what's more unhinged, attacking someone you've never met or responding to someone who attacked you? So that's one thing. And two is, I'd imagine that you get on social media, I've been through it, and you're frustrated and you feel that there's false narratives going around and the media is perpetrating things that aren't true or not relaying things accurately. It's very frustrating. I'm the wrong person for this because I do sympathize a bit with Matthew Judon. I've learned the thing with the internet is that you instigate, and then if someone responds, you call them crazy. But you're like, well, I'm responding to you, and while it's probably not definitely not the most mentally healthy thing to do, and it doesn't make me look good. it's not like out of the realm of what you could see happening. Like if someone insults you, your instinct is to respond. It's dumb, and that's why I had to get rid of my Twitter account. It's because Twitter never did me any good. Never. It never served a purpose. Nothing I put on Twitter was ever so clever that it needed to be shared with the world. And the only repercussions, no positives ever came from it. The only thing that ever came from Twitter for me was negative. And I contend the only good thing that has ever happened on Twitter is Dad Boner. The account Dad Boner, I'm being dead serious. That comedian nailed it, took it to the furthest place it could go artistically. And now it's just a collection of magazine articles and newspaper articles, which is getting less and less important because now they're all behind paywalls.
Yeah, there were a few people who took it and did something a little different with it. Colin Quinn's Twitter feed for a while was really
Neil
good.
Hamburger was funny for a while.
Yeah, and I think Colin Quinn probably that it helped his career. People, kind of remembered how funny and dry and sarcastic he could be, and that was good. But
it helped people's careers for a while. Absolutely, when it was in its first few years, absolutely, it didn't help mine. But those people mastered it, and they're a handful.
Yeah.
Not a ton. It's like MySpace and Dane Cook. Like Dane Cook blew up because of MySpace. Or who's the comedian that all the kids like, Zoe? The handsome one. Matt Rife. Matt Rife. He's because of TikTok. Like he's famous because of TikTok. So there's always someone who figures it out.
Yeah.
Someone who nails it. But, 99.9% of even famous people or public figures, it's a negative.
We're getting a lot of emails about people who believe they could do something in sports. The story that we did a little while ago about
do it.
96% of Bostonians surveyed said they could
accomplish something in professional sports. Yeah.
Alex at work, I legitimately believe I could kick an extra point, at least one out of four.
Kick a field goal in the NFL is 8.6%.
Surprised this one isn't high on the list.
Again, more likely than any other of these scenarios.
I'll give them that. I mean, you're not going to land a punch in a professional or even an amateur boxing match. But
against a rush, though, like it's not like you get to sit back and I'm going to line this up and take my time. It's like, no, snap, ball down, kick. He's got to go.
No, it's unlikely that
you're not
would
clearing like 95% of the people aren't even clearing the line.
Cam says, could you be a jockey in the Kentucky Derby and just finish the race? Even if it's last, could you just stay on the horse the whole race?
No,
I don't believe you could.
That is true, because what if you got like a real lazy horse, and because they don't lap you in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, but the lazy horse wouldn't be in the Kentucky Derby. It's one of the top 20 fastest horses in the world.
And you have to have the saddle, which isn't even really a saddle. I mean, it's just...
Right, you're basically riding bareback.
Yeah, you're standing.
Oh, Ryan.
Listen, everyone's got those IUDs.
Sarah in Everett, who always seems to be just an hour or two behind the show, said, I dated an 8th grader when I was a freshman in high school. Is that wrong? I was 1 year older and he was hot, but it sounds bad and we kept it a secret. I feel like Parento. No, Sarah. It's a Dummy Gummy Wednesday for Sarah in Everett, so she's probably already
that's why she's
medicated.
Oh, it's the same thing as Mark Parento.
Also,
it's absolutely a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old. It's the same thing as what Mark Parento did. Absolutely.
She goes on to say, my brother dated a speed walker in high school. She taught me well I could medal.
I'll tell you, listen, I imagine amphetamines were a bit of a problem.
But again, that's not professional. Are there professional speed walkers? That seems like an Olympic-only amateur event.
That's a good question.
You can't lift the heel. That's the thing.
Yeah, what is the rule for speed walking?
You can't lift the heel, I believe. Is that
you have to have at least 1 foot on the ground at all times.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so you can lift your heel. All right.
Yeah. Oh, no, you can lift. Yeah, you have to lift your heel.
Okay.
Yeah, Fred.
How do you walk in without lifting your heel?
By not lifting your heel and moving your feet.
You look like the Keep On Trucking guy. You just...
That's right. You look like a Crumb character. There's no question. All right. When we come back, we will have the stack, and Zoe says goodbye from her long-held internship here at the show. I will no longer have a companion coming to and from work with me. These last 3 days have been magical, Zoe. We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines. you, Stack Mark. Ready? It's time for The Stack on
Said they could land a punch in a professional boxing match.
It's more interesting that you could last a round. I mean, of all the things I wouldn't want to do, I'd rather get hit in an NFL game than go around in a boxing.
If a professional boxer hit you with one shot to the ribs, you are done. You're not getting up in 10 seconds.
Well, I've never been hit by a professional boxer, but I can assure you that even if I had my arms over my head in a total passive protective stance, a total beta, don't hit me stance, it would still be unbelievable pain and maybe have the ability to knock me out.
I always like to repeat what I heard once, that if you played 4 downs as a lineman in the NFL, that your body would never be the same as a normal person. And I asked that of your former co-host, Mike Flynn, once.
Yeah.
And Flynn, whatever happened to Mike Flynn? Why doesn't he come around no more?
He's a busy man.
Yeah, busy guy. But love Mike, and I asked him about it once, and you know how he was about everything. He's like, that's not true. I'm like, yeah, but you played, you were an offensive lineman all through your time in high school, I assume, and at Maine he was an offensive lineman, and for 10 years in the NFL. So to him it was like no big deal. He's like, nah, it's not like your body would be irrevocably damaged, but I believe it would be. If you had to go out there and play a set of downs in the NFL, Fred, do you think your body would ever be the same?
Well, if you just said you can get in 3-point stance and just go after the guy's shins, like just dive at his shins, and then you're just laying flat, the most thing is that a really heavy guy would land on you and knock the wind out of you.
I feel that I would never be the same.
There's things I'd rather do that than a lot of other things. But if you said you have to really try to block them, yeah, they would just run me over.
There was a clip years and years ago. I think it was it might have been like Harris Barton, the 49ers lineman, who told NFL Films, like, put on a helmet and then run your car straight into the wall, and then do it again 30 seconds later, and then do that basically for 3 hours straight. That's the life of a lineman.
I told you this. You know what you could do, because I have a friend who did it. Play goalie in a professional women's soccer game, because Jimmy Barron, when I was on the air at 99X, I was doing nights. He was on the morning show, and they did this thing, Beat Jimmy. So Jimmy went to the Thrashers practice, and the guy who does commentary now, the chicken parm guy, Ferraro, took shots on him. Yeah, they were both from East Boston, and then he went to this professional women's soccer thing. And he was in the goal, and the lady's like, all right, we're going to take some penalty kicks. And they're like, this is going to be something. And he ended up saving 2 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, penalty kicks, you just got to guess. You got to guess right.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think that they'd be coming at you at such unnerving speed?
I wouldn't want to do it, but you could stop it. It might hurt, but you could stop it.
The pros in the World Cup, they have trouble stopping them.
Because they guess wrong.
Right, but Jimmy was in there against professional athletes. Jimmy, if you want to know, is about 5'6", 160, little guy.
Yeah,
got in there, boom, boom, saved 2 of the 5. It was really embarrassing.
Fred, I made 2 mistakes last night. Number one, decided to go to the movies at Patriot Place the night of a Revolution game. Oh. Forgot about that.
Had to park 3 spots away.
Was still luckily found a parking spot. But the bigger mistake was going to see this movie. Dan O'Brien, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lady Raven.
Hurry, come on.
Wait. I got time my shoe.
No, dad jokes. This is serious. Come on.
I'm sorry. Lady Raven!
That is the setup to the movie Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan epic, in which, if you believe the trailer, the concert is nothing but a trap to catch a serial killer. And this man who is taking his daughter to see Lady Raven. How did they come up with such a name for a female diva that appeals to young ladies? Lady Raven. if you follow what the trailer would have you believe, the father is actually the serial killer, and he becomes paranoid that they're all there to catch him. And guess what, Fred? They go to a concert, and he is the serial killer, and they're all there to catch him. And if you're waiting for the plot twist in this M. Night Shyamalan movie, there isn't one.
The plot twist is there's no plot twist?
I've got more news for you. I don't think M. Night Shyamalan has ever been to a concert because they arrive in daylight, they stay for the entire concert, and then they leave in daylight.
Well, that won't even take research. You just have to look at times of shows.
Furthermore, they get up from their seats multiple times. He and his daughter leave the Lady Raven show to go get concessions, to go to the merch table, to do all kinds of things that people don't do at concerts. Lady Raven, you can immediately tell if you know nothing about the casting or the director or anything else. It's like, oh, she's got to be related to the filmmaker. Yep, it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. You want to know how? Because she can't act. It is the top 5 worst, most ridiculous movie I've ever sat through. Laugh out loud, bad. What happened to this guy? He used to make movies that were at least watchable. The Sixth Sense is watchable, and I still defy anyone to tell me they had figured that one out before the end of it.
No. Yeah, no. I would agree with you. But
that was
like that it literally must have been like the perfect convergence of like an idea, a script, Bruce Willis and Haley Joel, like everything worked. And then literally from that point on, I mean, you said earlier, like Signs was an okay movie.
I'll still watch Signs. It gets ridiculous at the end, but at least there's something that ties it all together. Let me tell you this Trap movie. There's nothing that ties it all together. You will if you just want to go see something hysterically bad and unbelievable and no payoff, by all means, go see it. But you will be shocked that this guy ever made a good movie.
M. Night Shyamalan has made 19 movies, according to IMDb.
I mean,
and he's let so many people do so many things to him in order to get those made. Sam Adams from Slate says, Trap repeatedly crosses the boundary between performer and fan, the viewer and the viewed. But it doesn't really want us to think about what that means. We're just meant to lie back and watch.
You won't watch the movie, Fred, but I desperately want you to watch it so you can tell me if I'm going overboard
Hardy,
on this.
65% on Rotten Tomatoes audience score.
It's pathetic.
You are in the minority.
My 13-year-old son, he's like, it's probably the first time he's gone to the movies, and the movie was terrible. And you know that feeling when you're a kid? Like going to the movies is like still kind of a thing. You don't want it to be bad. But he's like, that was pretty bad, wasn't it? I'm like, that's okay. It'll make you appreciate good movies more now. That's all right, buddy. Let's go get a slice. We're going to be fine.
Burandelli says, when I say awful, I mean it's awful. Not so bad it's fun. Not throwaway summertime diversion. This may be the worst movie M. Night Shyamalan has ever made. But then David Fear of Rolling Stone, who is a top critic, says, it is undeniably camp, however, and we look forward to attending one of those midnight reclamation revival screenings a la Showgirls. So he's saying that it's almost like The Room, that it's so bad, like it's deliberately bad.
It's not deliberate. I don't believe he would put his daughter in a deliberately bad movie. I don't think he's a monster.
Okay.
Not spoiling. There are no spoilers. Everything you see in the trailer happens in the movie, and if you're waiting for some big twist, it doesn't happen.
Jason Adams is a published critic for My New Plaid Pants.
Oh yeah, I read that regularly.
It's a pure silly delight.
There's nothing delightful about it.
Maybe you didn't catch the camp.
No, that's probably it. Let's talk about a certain friend of ours here from the show.
Fireball.
He's got a new business venture, Fred.
Yeah.
Pitbull Stadium coming to Miami. Pitbull and FIU have agreed to a wide-ranging 5-year, $6 million deal.
They're going to let him play. They're going to make the students go. It's going to be a required class.
He bought the name. Like,
it says, don't do this.
How much money do you have when you just go, screw it, I'll just buy the naming rights to a stadium and name it after myself?
I don't think he has anywhere near that kind of money. I think that this is some marketing scam.
$1.2 million per year to FIU for the stadium naming rights.
Oh, yeah. I guess he's got a liquor distributorship, and maybe that this is a write-off because it goes to the college. Who knows?
Well, it is. I mean, it's a college based in Miami, so
he's hustling.
Who else are you going to sell it to?
You got to grind. You got to hustle. I mean, you got to spend money to make money, fellas. If you can't get in on the grind, then who knows? I don't know what to tell you.
Does he have any say in what other acts come in there other than football and himself? I mean, could he get Ram Jam to come play?
If you're here for a good time, put your hands up now.
I mean, that's good stuff. That's good song.
Have you ever seen on the Kroll show, Senior Green Screen? I'm trapped in this green screen prison.
No.
Yeah, it's senior feature is what he's called.
Okay.
Senior feature because he just green screens into other people's songs. Yeah, it's.
Oh, we actually have the senior green screen.
He makes him have a foot fetish. Do you have the whole thing? Play the whole thing. No, turn down Ass Man for a second. Play the whole thing. It's very funny. All right, Zoe. You want to say something to people? Go ahead. All right, she's very shy. Well, thank you, Zoe, for helping over the last 3 days. That'll do it for us. I'm sorry that I embarrassed you. There's only like 5 people on YouTube. Don't worry about it. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Scotty Z is here.